The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
the top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Industry of Comics show here on Beyond Wednesdays. Let me see if I can fix this here. There we go. I like that. All right. Another Tuesday night. Sorry we're running a little late tonight. Had some things pop up that I had to take care of. And I got something I got to talk about. Everybody's waiting for this one, right? Dennis will no longer be on the Industry of Comics show. He put out a video the other night. I saw the video. I did call Dennis and I told him, hey, bro, we're good. Everything's good. You know, I saw the video. You know, we kind of talked here and there. And, you know, I told him, throughout this whole thing, I've always said to Dennis, like, I want a friendship with you. I want to work on having a friendship with you. I consider you a friend. And I think that I've shown that both publicly and privately, pretty intensely, pretty heavy. A matter of fact, I've lost a couple of friends, because I've defended Dennis as being my friend, as well. And that's the thing, you guys, like, there's this thing in life where as we get older, you know, sometimes your friends will hold it against you because they don't like one of your other friends. And I'm not about that. That's cheesy. Like it's one thing, like, you know, say somebody like went at my best friend Keith in a very, very bad and disrespectful way. That's definitely going to make me feel differently about a friend. But if Keith doesn't get along with another one of my friends, Keith isn't going to be like, don't hang out with that dude, or, you know, what are you doing with that dude? And I've had that a lot. And I always say, you know, no, this guy's my friend. Just like you're my friend, he's my friend. You guys don't have to be friends. And I've felt that way with Dennis a lot. We all know that Dennis is very passionate. He is very passionate. And I respect that about Dennis in a major way. But, you know, I can only kind of like deal with it for so long. And before we start the show tonight, I kind of want to address the situation with him no longer being here. First off, like, I'm not here to trash Dennis. I respect him immensely, him and Wonderworld Comics, for a long time. I didn't know Dennis until Tales from the Flip Side. He started showing up in the chat in Tales from the Flip Side, and the guys, he has a very big reputation in the Midwest, and most of the Flip Side guys are from the Midwest, and that's how I met Dennis. And all of my interactions with Dennis over the last 8 years or 10 years are from, like, all of my thought process on Dennis is from those interactions, not about what I've heard of Dennis, because I didn't hear of Dennis before Tales from the Flip Side. You know what I mean? So it's all about my relationship with Dennis. And I supported his store and his brand, his events, his live sales, promoted him constantly, and genuinely, like, really considered him a good friend. And, you know, he recently put out the video and framing it as like it's an integrity issue with him or an authenticity issue regarding variants and live sales and promotions and the direction of the show. And he's totally entitled to his opinions on those things. But I want to make one thing very clear. That is not why this situation happened. It's not about that stuff to me. The real issue was the growing hostility and personal shots and inability to work constructively with other co-hosts on the channel. I've had multiple private conversations over several months, probably at least 5 months now, asking for things to just stay respectful and professional, even during disagreements. You know what I mean? I don't mind if you disagree with other people on the channel, other co-hosts. Just do it respectfully. The one thing that I always say to anybody that comes on this channel as a co-host, I always talk to them and say, hey, here's first things first. Like, family and work always come first. You don't ever have to worry about, saying, hey, I can't make it because of family or work. Those always come first. And I'm not really going to get angry if you don't make it anyways. Like, I just want you to come and hang out. You're giving me your time, and I respect that. Right. But at the same time, all the other co-hosts are on the channel because I respect them and they respect me. And I'm having you on the channel because I respect you, and I hope that you respect me. And if you do respect me, you'll respect the other co-hosts. And I always say that. And Dennis openly, all right. So when Sean joined the show, things kind of escalated significantly. Sean was very respectful towards Dennis, both publicly and privately. And I really don't think there was any reason for the arguments between them. But Dennis openly told me that he could not continue doing shows with Sean without taking negative shots at him. About 5 months ago, it changed with me, but from being like a friend that's busting my balls, which is what I always thought Dennis kind of was doing. He's just busting my balls as a friend, to where I felt like he was actually taking shots at me to expose skin. And one of those moments happened live on air with the whole Bad Idea VHS promotion, which, funny enough, that whole moment on the show, talking about the VHS promotion was a segue for me and Emmett to talk about the Bad Idea series. That in the pre-show, Emmett was like, hey, I read these Bad Idea books and they're really good. I said, okay, good. Well, I'll bring that up. And it turned into like Dennis calling me a shill because Dinesh has bought me dinner a couple of times, both which Dennis has done for me. And because Dinesh has bought a comic for me at a $10 comic for me at a comic book store that I didn't ask him to buy, both of which Dennis has done for me too. He's given me comics and sent me comics. So after that show, I kind of basically said, hey, do you really feel that way? Do you really feel I'm a shill, or was that just you busting my balls? And he told me straight up, no, that's how I feel. I feel you're a shill. And I felt really shitty about it because, I don't think I'm a shill. I think shilling is wrong. I think it's ridiculous. Every single person and business that I promote on this channel, I only promote it because I like it. Or it's because a friend, a co-host on the show, like Dennis, will ask, hey, I got a friend who's got a new Kickstarter. Can we bring him on? And I'll say, okay, sure. Other than that, it's because I like it. I've told every person that wants to promote with the channel, hey, I'm only going to talk about the things I like. That's it. I'm not going to, if you want me to talk about something I don't like, it's going to look stupid, and I don't want to do that. And that feels cheesy to me. So I've been very upfront about that. And when, Sean joined, it felt like that all kind of changed. Everything that Sean would say, Dennis would take a shot at. And I just said, hey man, can we just have constructive conversations? All the guys don't have to agree, but like the other guys can have conversations and disagree with each other without, telling some other man to suck my dick. You know what I mean? Shit like that, which you should never say to another man unless you're willing to get into something with him, whether you're in person and you're going to get slapped or punched in the mouth, or somebody's going to want to find you and punch you in the mouth. Like, there's just certain things you don't do, right? And that's all I ask, is just have conversations about it. Now, I want to stress, I still hope to be friends with Dennis. Dennis, I know you're probably going to watch this and you're going to get angry about this. Please, I still want to be friends with you. I still want to work on the relationship. I've told you that since the beginning. I have a lot of respect for you. I'll always have respect for you. I want strong opinions, right? I want those. But at that point, I had to make a decision as the owner of the channel about what kind of atmosphere I want on this show moving forward. And I want debates. I want different perspectives from many retailers, from many creators, from collectors, publishers, industry people, fans across the industry. But I don't want it to be so toxic where guests feel uncomfortable about appearing on the show, co-hosts feel attacked, or every disagreement becomes a personal attack. And for the record, Dennis participated in the same promotions, live sales, event pushes. Maybe he never gave me a promo code to use, but promo code is just promotion in the end, right? And I promoted Dennis's live sales, his Invincible sales on eBay. I promoted his store. I held his store always in high regard. Event pushes at his store whenever he would open up a new store, any collaborations and stuff he was doing. And now he's criticizing for me that. And I don't understand where that's coming from other than for him just feeling like I've wronged him. And I understand, like, when you feel like you've been wronged, you want to, take some shots, but there's ways to do that. And I've always been upfront with Dennis, and anytime I've ever felt there was anything weird going on, I'd call him and say, hey, are we good? Hey, let's hash this out. I want to take time and hash this out because I want to be your friend. I want you to be on the channel. I want to do stuff with you. I want to hang out with you. I like you, but I can't do that if I don't feel like we're not good, I never treated his business differently than anyone else's. Actually, you know what I did? I held it to on a higher regard, right? I always talked good about Dennis and his business. I supported him in the same way that I support other people on the channel, if not more. And at the end of the day, it wasn't about variance or authenticity. It was about trust, respect, and the ability to work together without constant conflict. That's all I wanted. I genuinely wish Dennis and Wonderworld success moving forward and all the luck. He's getting ready to open up a new coffee thing, which I hope you guys check out if you're in the area. He's got 3 amazing stores. And there's no hate from me here right now and in this moment. But for the health of the show and everyone involved, I felt like this was the decision to make. I have asked Dennis over the last 5 months, please change it up if you can. I need to see some change. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And when he told me that there was no way he was going to be able to do a show with Sean without taking shots at him, it was kind of like, well, that's not a me problem. That's not a Emmett problem. That's not a Jesse problem. That's not a Sean problem, because Sean not taking shots at Dennis unless he's responding to a shot from Dennis. That's a Dennis problem. And I felt like he kind of had to change that. You don't have to get along with him to be best friends, but just be cordial and respectful, okay? And I will talk more about this. I plan to be a little bit more open on the members only stuff. What I hate about this the most is that, especially in the YouTube world and in the comic book world, there is this ego/drama thing that happens. And you guys know me, I'm not adverse to the drama. I've got a comic drama alert segment, right? I'm for it. But it's kind of hard, and it makes it hard to do things like this in situations like that. And I respect the hell out of Dennis. I will never not respect Dennis unless he makes it obvious that I shouldn't respect him. As a matter of fact, it's funny because when Razor did that video about Dennis calling me a shill, I purposely did not watch that video because I wanted to EFAP it with Dennis, me and Dennis live on a members only, because I thought Dennis would be like, oh, this is ridiculous. This guy's a moron. Like he talks about Razor all the other times. But then when I asked him, did you really feel I'm a shill? And he said, yes, that changed everything. That made me kind of not feel as like we're on the same friendship level anymore. And I told him that. I said him straight up to him, that makes me feel different. You're going to have to change some things and fix that a little bit for me, man. That's all I'm asking. And I would love to have Dennis at some point, and I don't know if he'll ever do it now, but at some point, come on and let's hash this out. Let's talk about it. What happens? Dennis always says integrity is what happens when nobody's looking, right? but integrity is also when people are looking. And when I see all the people that do nothing but talk trash about me now hate bonding with Dennis, hate bonding with somebody who trust me, and I hope Dennis will be up front and say this, like, he's not a fan of Razor, right? But now I see people hate bonding and the ability to hate bond, and I'm just like, man, this sucks. This really sucks because I look at Dennis like a friend. I have always been honest, and I think that is the number one thing about a YouTube channel, right? It's got to be entertaining, and I owe you guys honesty. I owe you guys honesty, and I've always talked about my honesty and where that comes from. It doesn't come from like these morals that I've been taught. It comes from living a life of 10 plus years of straight dishonesty, debauchery, drugs, heroin addiction, lying, cheating, and stealing, and hating every bit of it. And when I got clean and sober, I said, I'm not going to lie anymore, and I'm going to be honest to a fault. That way I don't have to remember my lies. And it's a big part of who I am, and I think that's a big part of why a lot of you guys are part of this community, because you want that honesty. So, more about this to come, but I just wanted to, state this, drop some information for you guys, because I see everybody's talking about it and stuff. And it's a real bummer. I was talking to the guys before the show. I said, it really sucks that this situation happened because of the respect I have for Dennis and, what he's done for me and this channel. I've always showed him gratitude and respect for that. And I hope to continue to do that. I appreciate you, Rye, immensely. He says, Brian, I know this must be hard. I appreciate all you do, brother. $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. So I'll continue being honest with you guys. I know that can be a problem, but I'm going to continue being honest with you guys. But I'm going to try and do it in better ways. I know not all you guys out there are into this cheesy comic book YouTube drama stuff. But I cannot not be honest with you guys, but I'll find other places to do that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen,
and now for something completely different.
Copyright strike.
Copyright strike, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Industry of Comics show, episode number 113, I believe. Episode 113. Yeah, Sean's got to put on the headgear.
Was it safe now? Sorry. Let me make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. So, oh boy. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, you guys. Some very interesting stuff. And I want to again thank Rye for that super chat and for those 50 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I'll be doing a lot of more of that honesty stuff in the gifted memberships area. And look at that, Jesse James just won a gifted membership. Where are you, bro? Jump on here, dude. What are you doing? I sent you the link. So I'll be a little bit more honest and give you guys that stuff in the members only section, because I know not all you guys are here for that. It's about comics, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get back into comics. So Rye with another super chat says, hit the likes, damn it. Thank you, brother. So very interesting what's going on right now. A couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight. We're definitely going to talk about the DC damages on 3 titles, I believe. Absolute Batman, Absolute Martian Manhunter, and Barbara Gordon Batgirl, right?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. I did
not have any. Yeah. I'll wait till we get to it.
Okay. And then we're going to talk about a couple other things. It was funny because I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm glad Emmett's here because Emmett talked about the eBay guy. He had such horrible, not eBay guy, the GameStop guy had that horrible interview on CNBC or something. But
Yep.
Emmett said he had a really good interview on YouTube recently, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first things first, I got to say thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us in the live chat. And big shout out to my boy Lord Zero with that super chat, who says, "You have always been honest with me, brother. That's why we are friends. Love you, brother, always. Oh yeah, please like the stream. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Much love." All right. The big story that not the big story, but one of the main things that I want to talk about tonight is, have you guys seen like all the hot list this week by any chance on any of the hot lists? I know Stein this week on Stein, we had to take the week off because of work and stuff. But Cover Price, of course.
Comic Tom's.
Okay, Comic Tom's. I didn't see what was on his. Do you know what was his number one comic? Do you remember? I should just go look.
There was a ton of Daredevil. There was like 6 Daredevil books on the.
So I think Tom usually does key collectors, right? So let's go take a look at.
Yeah, I saw Cover Price.
But they take it from the trending 20.
Oh, they take it from the trending 20. They don't take it from the hot 10.
Yeah, it's a mix. Yeah, it's 10 out of the 20.
Okay.
This was a book that was on the list.
Well, this is the list right here. So
that's on the list. Yeah, but that's all 20 of them, not all. This wasn't on the list.
Well, this is
Ben 10 was on the list, but it was number 10.
Well,
they made it number 10.
This is the one I want to talk about because Cover Price made that
number 1.
Yeah, number 1. Let me go find it. CP content. They need to change that. Let's see here.
Top left, that one.
Top 10 comics. Okay. So this is for this just came out. So look at this. And we just had Nick and Brian on last week, and then Nick came on Wednesday again, and just because he wanted to talk about Ben 10. And this is very surprising to me, and it should not be surprising. It's a very good thing that Ben 10 is doing as well as it did, but Ben 10 was the hottest comic, either the hottest or the second hottest, in my opinion, comic on the market last week. Now,
yeah,
there are some other books that are still on here. The Dungeon Carl books are still on here. As a matter of fact, it's funny, like. One of the things, you guys, I'm very imperfect, as I say, and sometimes I don't even take my own advice. And I'm like, I seen. You remember that guy that we've been talking about on here lately that puts out the videos that's kind of been getting some things wrong lately. He put out a video talking about V-Friends and he used that, but he started off by talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, the free comic book day, and said that was the hottest book in the country. And I disagreed with him. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like that's not the hottest book in the country. You know what I mean?
So disconnected.
Yeah. I feel like Ben 10 is much hotter, and another book we're going to talk about in a second is much hotter, that Blaze Pizza Daredevil. And that's kind of where I'm going with this, but it's very interesting. This is both the Dungeon Crawler Carl, the Ben 10, the dork stuff, is showing a very good trend, in my opinion, for the comic book industry. What is that trend? Younger IPs. IPs that the younger generations are into are starting to sell more. And that's a big deal.
But isn't Ben 10 like mid-20s now?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the generation I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about like 30 years old and lower. I feel like 30-year-old and lower is the generations that we need to pay attention to. We need to build comic fans in that generation.
Oh yeah, like all Cartoon Network stuff should be like Phineas and Ferb and Ed and Eddie and Jesus Christ,
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack. Well, they tried Samurai Jack, but I think it was too early.
Too early.
Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. I think those people were in their early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, they hadn't had a good enough job yet to start spending money on weekly or monthly books, and probably out chasing the opposite sex or the same sex or every sex. But yeah, you know, like when you settle down and you get a house or your apartment, and you have a regular partner and you're just coming to the comic shop, spend a little bit of your extra dough. I think that they were a little early with that stuff. I think Samurai Jack's at least 4 years ago.
We had so many people in our live shows asking for Ben 10. Like, and I skipped right over at FOC. I skipped most of the kids' titles, most of the Disney Dynamite stuff. I just can't sell it.
I didn't get to read the Ben 10, but I heard it's not that kiddie.
I ordered a crap ton of the second print and the issue number 2 or 3 or whatever was on FOC.
Well, the Ashcan is the one that specifically that Cover Price is talking about. But I'll tell you what, you guys, and we talked about this when Nick was on the Wednesday night show. I think that the Lucas Lee Garza book is the book to be on the lookout for. They only printed 250 of each. There was like 4 treatments. There was a regular treatment, a black and white, a virgin. Maybe there's only 3, and they did 250 of each treatment. And if you guys don't know who Lucas Lee Garza is, he's kind of one of the closest things that we have, like to John Romita Jr. and the Kubert brothers. You know, like he is the lineage of comic book greatness, and you know he's Jim Lee's stepson and
Ali's kid,
Ali Garza's son, right? So and he is that exact type of generation that I'm talking about, where, you know, mid-20s, grew up on this stuff. If you look at his art, you guys will see kind of what I'm talking about. This is the book that he did for Dynamite, limited to 250. You could only get it on their web store, which was interesting. I get that, and that's the other thing. You know, a lot of publishers are using their web store to put these really cool collectible books, which we'll get into in a little bit. But you can see he's got some really good, you know,
some
talent.
Very
right?
much a manga style.
Very much, yes. So I think that this is what we want. Here he is with Jim Lee signing.
I bet he doesn't have any problem getting approved by DC.
Probably not, right? So I've been following him for a while. He started putting out social media a couple years ago where he has his own IP that he's been building, which is very interesting, that I've been, you know, kind of keeping an eye on. At some point I did hit him up about coming on the show, maybe. Hopefully one day we'll get him on the channel. I think it's very interesting, but this is the generation I'm talking about, where we need to start growing that generation. And one of the things that I think does that, other than putting out, like you were saying, Emmett, putting out these type of Cartoon Network, these type of things that are that generation's nostalgia. The other thing is the promotional stuff that needs to happen, right? To put comics into new people's hands, right? What do I mean by that? And we've talked about that pretty heavily on this show. This is exactly what I mean by that. I think comics industry needs more of this. And to me, this or Ben 10 was the hottest book in the country last week. This book was let's see here, it's limited to 25 for each site. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 250 copies. If our guesstimate is right, there was only 25 given out at each store. There was 10 stores across the country that did it. You had to buy one of their new sweet heat pizzas that they made. And if you did, you got this Daredevil Born Again comic. These comics, you guys, are selling on eBay for up to like $500.
here's my question: where are the other 750 of these?
That is a good question. That is a good question.
You got to print 1,000 with Marvel, no matter who you are.
Well, do you if it's a custom edition? Because I believe when it's a custom edition, that might not be the case. I'm not sure. And
somebody that's outside. Somebody that's outside
I could
the comic book.
I could be very outdated, but I would be shocked if they let a pizza place do an exclusive for 250 copies, unless they paid the same amount you would pay for 1,000 print run for a 250 print.
Now,
You know
I
what
was
I
under
mean?
the impression that they had some kind of connection to Disneyland, Disney World.
Well, I guess if you go through other, like when Whatnot does these exclusives or whatever, they don't go through the retailer channel. They go through like marketing channels. So there's probably
Right.
different avenues for sure. So,
but I thought that one of these pizzerias like in Disney.
yeah, I don't know.
No, they're across the country. I mean, there might be one in Disney, but you can see. Let's see here: Kalamazoo, Michigan, Clark, New Jersey, Niles, Illinois, Lehigh, Utah, Midlothian, Virginia, Lompoc, California, Daytona Beach, Florida, Tampa, Florida. A couple of those might be Disney, like the ones in California. I don't know if Riverside's close to Disney or what, but I don't think any of these are at a Disney, are they?
No, none of those are close to Disney.
No,
Maybe.
they got a particular name for the Disney property.
I mean, Anaheim.
When it's not Disney, in Florida, it's got some kind of stupid name to it. That's like that's on the property of Disney that isn't Disney.
Yeah, it's not
because they have their own fire department, their own 911 system, their own police department. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody I'm sure remembers the name of it. It's in the
Lompoc is way up north.
Lompoc. The only reason I know Lompoc is because I know there's a prison there. That's the only reason I know of Lompoc, California, man.
But then Riverside is way east. That's East County.
So very, very. I mean,
Riverside is close to Disney. It's like 20 minutes.
I guess
that's not. Yeah, it's close. I thought they.
I mean, it's California close.
Yeah. I don't think that. I think this is a great promotion for them. It gives a lot. People are talking. Everybody in the comic industry is talking about Blaze Pizza. I don't know how much outside of comics they get that's going to promote them, but we need a lot more books. Like when, was it Hyundai or GM? I can't remember who did the Iron Man car. It should have been you buy the car, you get a comic. It's only, maybe numbered or something to the cars. Something there's a lot more people are gonna see it than, the 25 people who bought the pizza that day.
Well, regardless, it's pretty cool they got a cover, and it's crazy that none of the other sites are talking about it.
Yeah. Nobody's really talking about it at all, man. And
it makes you. That's why I always wonder, like, where these guys get their data from. If it's just eBay sales charts, we talk about this all the time. That shows you such a small little snippet of the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse, what's up, brother?
Nothing. I just finished shipping. I'm down to this last item, right? And I don't have the right size box for it. And I'm shipping it to some guy in wherever the Indianapolis Colts play. Where they play?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. They play in Indianapolis? I thought it was a different city. So, Sean, Can you show this? I have to ship this action figure to this guy. Can you put me on the big screen real fast? Yeah, that very nice belt there. Yeah. All right. Let's talk some comics. All right, it's crazy. I pulled this. Someone's like, "Who is that guy?" Obviously, it's Kurt Angle, and I'm like, "That does not look like Kurt Angle. That looks like Sean Hudaku."
Yeah.
So well done, sir. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you spelled CE correctly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So like if like Disney on a particular day, like on the release of a new Marvel movie, if they gave away a comic, everybody that entered Disney, you're getting it in a lot more people's hands than
Right.
250 books. Yeah, this is exciting for the 250 people that end up with these books. They maybe can turn it into $500, but
Right. Now,
nobody will be talking about this in 6 months.
I did hear what you guys said about the print run on this. Keep in mind, this is not sold through a comic book store. This is sold through a different.
It's a custom edition, yeah. And when we say custom editions, let me explain what that means, you guys.
Yeah.
So,
the car companies have had them. AIM Toothpaste had them. KB Toys had them.
Yeah, it's like if you wanted to do
Buster Brown,
a Iron Maiden Vans, but you weren't a shoe company, you were a furniture company, your terms are a lot different on how you purchase.
So see how it says custom branded edition on it?
Yep.
If you guys look at some of the promotional books, like Emmett was talking about, I don't know if it was Bic or one of the razor companies. They one year they did a Transformers book where they had IDW make their razor into a Transformer, and I don't know how they gave it out, but it also says custom edition.
Yep.
You'll see on Marvel. I don't know if DC does it as well, but Marvel definitely puts custom edition or custom branded content. It's very obvious that it's not through a comics branded business, if that makes sense.
Yep. Different division, has nothing to do with the comic book division at all.
It goes through advertising.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, I did a comic for Dave and Buster's about 8 years ago. And same thing. We didn't really deal with print runs or anything. It was more of I helped them do it. I didn't do it through Just James. Actually, I think they put my logo on it at the end. But they had different terms. It basically came down to how many do you need? This is the price. Done.
Western Union, Adobe, Lexus, Benefit Cosmetics have all done custom editions.
Yeah.
Fernando says, so what's the content in something like this? I imagine it's probably a reprint of some Daredevil issue that is close to what they're showing in Born Again, that might have to do with the series, because obviously they take a lot of the storylines from comics that are already out. That's why a lot of the Daredevil comics are hot this week. You see, like when we were showing on the Trending 20, this one's hot right now. Daredevil 82, because it's the beginning of the Devil in Cell Block D storyline, which is based on the finale of the latest series. So they'll usually reprint either a first appearance, a first issue, or one of the storylines that has to do with the series that they're promoting, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
here's why I want to bring this up. I think this is the type of things that we need to see more of. And I want to play a quick video from Devengers that he's going to say something that we've been saying for a long time here. And it was Dennis that I first heard say this to me. And I thought to myself, that is so right. And let me go ahead and show you guys this. Saved. Let me see if I can find it here. All right, here we go.
Sure. The company that decides they're going to finally put either trades, facsimiles, the compact editions in movie theaters will win the war. It will end one of the companies, I think. I said this when it came out, when Deadpool 3 came out, Deadpool Wolverine. Imagine they had facsimiles of New Mutants 98 and Hulk 181 in the theater. They would have sold thousands and thousands of copies. Mommy, can you buy me the comic?
Well, Dave, let's be fair. I don't think there's anyone in the Deadpool Wolverine audience going, "Mommy, will you buy me?"
It's a different kind of mommy,
But they're totally right there. Like you need to start putting comics in these areas where it's, you know, it's going to open it up to a new audience. Now, I get it. Some people would be like, well, that's stupid because, you know, you want people that are going to go get them, you know, so you want people to kind of be in that audience. No, I want it to open up to a new audience. If they're going to see the movie of Daredevil, I want them to know where that movie came from. You know what I mean? And I want them to get a floppy in their hand. I want them to have a spinning rack at the movie theater, or 3 or 4 of them, maybe, when you walk out into the little room that kind of separates the theater from the you know, concourse. Like, put a spinning rack in there with a bunch of, and let people grab one at a time, you know, or grab a couple. Hey, you got a kid here, take a couple different ones. You know, put the books that you charged $1 in the DC books that you charge for in the dollar stores, put those in there. You know, do that type of stuff. And not just in movie store or movie theaters. I want to see it in other places, you know, GameStops, I don't know. I'm sure we can think of other places that they need to be.
Right. And keep in mind, you can rent a space in a movie theater for a movie debut. So if you wanted to do a New Mutants 98 reprint for the next Wolverine or next Deadpool movie, you can rent a booth at the inside the movie theater. So, and either give out
the whole movie theater out. Yep. Give free tickets to your customers.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We, who is it? When I used to run the comic side for Phoenix Comic Con, we run out the whole movie theater and bring in, you know, 500-600 people and have fun, have contests. So there's a lot of ways to partake. If a comic book store wanted to partake, they're not left out of it. They can do this if they wanted to. It's cost, time, and that becomes an issue.
Shout out to Rye, who says with a super chat, missed opportunity when I went to see Spider-Man 3. Sam De La Rosa was in the lobby selling cigs and sketches.
Yep. Pretty smooth, baby.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Shout out to Ronnie with the gold coins for 10 jewels. This is a new thing that helps the support YouTube channels, which is cool. And I made a new alert for it. It's Butthead saying smooth move, Beavis. So if you guys see that, that's what that is. But yeah, like, here's, I think that promo comics are not only cool to like open their, like, oh, comics are still being made. Oh, this is where that comes from. Oh, like us as comic fans think that, oh, that's, of course people wouldn't think that. Like, you know, that's stupid to think. No, people out there, no, they have no idea. Some people are like, they just don't know, and they don't know that new comics are being written for that character and new series, and so I think that's the number one goal, is to put it in people's minds. The other goal is what we are seeing with the Daredevil book. It creates, ultimately, right now, comics are thriving, in my opinion, and I've said this a lot, because of them being collectibles, right? And them having a monetary value. Now, I know that probably the majority, I wouldn't say vast majority, I'd just say majority.
Pretty smooth, baby.
There we go. Shout out to Ronnie. The majority of people will still read comics, but they don't read every comic they buy. And a lot of them are just buying them to keep them in pristine condition, you know, as a collectible. These comics are collectibles. And when people realize that, hey, they got a free Daredevil comic that they can sell for $3.99, $3.50, $5.25, you know, $200, $500, $5.95. You know, when that is happening, that makes them go, whoa, I wonder if I can do this with other comics, you know? And here's something that I saw the other day. People are flipping these Mortal Kombat 2 promotional packs, right? Upper Deck was giving these out at IMAX for Mortal Kombat, and now they're selling for $25 a pack, you know? So this is a perfect promotional thing. We see it with the popcorn buckets. Everybody's going crazy for the popcorn buckets.
Have you
Hell
seen the
Destroyer
Master
was.
of the Universe one.
I haven't seen that one. Oh yeah,
Gray
the
Skull.
sword. The sword.
No, the sword is the drink.
Yeah.
The popcorn is the Castle Grayskull.
Oh, that's cool. Sean, Hell Destroyer Comics showed the Mortal Kombat one on Wednesday night, which is not Shang Tsung. Who's the main bad guy? Not Shang Tsung, but the guy with the badass skull mask. That skull mask was the popcorn bucket, which was awesome. So promotional items they fucking work, and comic publishers and comic companies, you don't necessarily have to be a publisher to do it, but I think if there's more cool promotional items for comic books and we use comics as promotional items, it's gonna help the industry. No?
Yeah.
But if we can get back into the schools and get teachers to realize, any kid you have with having difficulty with reading and
Pretty
reading
smooth, baby.
comprehension, that comic books help with all that, and they should partner up with their local comic shop.
I couldn't agree more. I saw a story the other night talking about reading comprehension for young kids and how bad it is these days. Like how it is horrible, really, really bad. And I think that if they took these, but they would have to, it's going to be hard because they're going to have to figure out series for them. We can't be putting like that Avengers clip said, you can't be putting Wolverine, Deadpool in schools, No. We got to figure out what to put in there. And
the science is in, the brain can decipher a photograph or a picture, let's say picture, way faster than comprehend words.
Yes.
You
kids
have to
are
decode
reading
the words
Dogman.
constantly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dogman. Yeah.
The kids who start early with books with pictures in it usually end up having better reading comprehension.
Shout out to Ronnie with the super chat. He says, best show in the industry. Best show in the industry, Comics Elite, best retailer in the world. Sean does covers the most excellent way. It's just art. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate
yeah.
you.
So when it comes to that type of stuff, it's not about having the conversation. It's about actually doing it, and it's actually about doing it consistently. You can't just do it once and say, oh, I hope the kids love this. It has to be a consistent project. And that means that you're working with the publisher 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months out, almost a full year to have that consistency with that growth, and understanding that there's not a lot of ROI in that, but as far as marketing of goodwill is something that works very well when it comes to that. So it has to be very consistent. And I think that's how you make it important. And so you're doing both. You're making it important, you're being consistent, and you're hoping that kid tells a friend, and you hope that kid comes into the store, and then that fosters growth. And what we're looking at is, how do we get beyond that? Right now, the average age of a customer is 35 to 65. How do we get below 34 and below is then be the most important thing in our future.
Keep putting out Dungeon Crawler Carls and Ben 10s and those kind of books.
Dorks. Yep. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I mean, you look at Bone. Bone was another one of those books where it was like, it was meant for kids, but adults loved it. If we can figure out another book like that, Bone created so many young comic readers. It was unreal. Shout out to Gilbert with the super chat saying, sorry to disagree. KRS is the best in the industry. They have integrity in everything they do. Hey, we agree with KRS. We love KRS over here. Shout out to KRS.
Love KRS. They're fantastic. Great.
The best comic book stores in the world are everybody that opens up and sells comics. That's to the public. That's the best comic book store.
Every comic shop in the world is the best comic shop in the world.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's great. But I think at the end of the day, if you want to foster growth, which is going to be very interesting in the next 15 years, we have to look at ways to be consistent. We have to have ways that is generational. Look at Transformers. Transformers is consistent generational product. And
What do you
I
mean?
think-
Explain what you mean by that. What do you mean by
So
that?
that means a father is showing his son Transformers, that son loves it, and then shows his son. There are product out there, Adventure Time, right? Adventure Time's good, but it didn't really go generational. And it slows down. My Little Pony slows down. It doesn't go generational. G.I. Joe is generational, right? He-Man is generational.
Well, I think that you're right, but I think that like things like Adventure Time, they weren't around when the people who were into GI Joe got hooked on it. So you like I get what you're saying, but like we have to also remember like My Little Pony, My Little Pony, and you're 100% right on that about generational, because we see people like Nate. Shout out to Nate, who's on the channel all the time. He is creating this love for Thundercats, Silverhawks, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Mask, Star Wars in his young son. And we see it every episode, you know, backstage after the show. His son is back there if it's not too late, you know, and he's you know, enjoying Nate's toys in a very respectful manner, and he's reading the comics on the laptop. And you know, you're right, there is certain things that they are across multiple generations that fathers share with their kids, and their kids share with their kids.
Third generation, fourth generation.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important. That we look at and foster that. It's about consistency. We got 3 guys wearing red shirts and a guy wearing a black shirt. I mean, we got to be consistent on the show here every once in a while. But at the end of the day, I think we do have a great future if we work together and understand that it's about people who sell comics that can foster the future. And it's just not about an LCS trying to foster that. It's online sellers, it's live stream sellers, it's people that sell at swap meets that have little tiny stores every single week, 52 weeks a year. I think if we can get everybody in that group, I think that's how we're successful. But if we try to just throw it on one group, I don't think it becomes successful.
I talk about this all the time with people. Like, people ask me, you know, some of my peers and stuff, like, how much longer do you think we have in this industry? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, how do you get this out of the hands of the next generation?
Great.
How do you get this out of the hands of our generation?
You can't
get this out of the hands of humanity.
It's not going to happen.
You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, right? They're even bigger now. So,
yeah.
So, like, how do you? Like Jesse said it perfectly, target market 35 to 65 males. That's target market for all of us. So I guarantee you that's the demographic watching this show.
Well, that's who I sell to. Is not my target demographic. I mean, those people are coming to buy in the comics. My target demographic that I go after are the younger kids. I keep kids books in. I give every kid that comes in, if they don't get anything or if they get something, they get a free comic left over from Comic Book Day, a kid's comic.
That's
Marvel
awesome.
at least has been doing its part to at least every free Comic Book Day to put out. They have a Disney Plus show that kids are watching and enjoying. They don't have it out on where we can make money on it, but they put it out for free Comic Book Day every year. Is the Amazing Friends?
Yeah.
Well, but the U.S. government on the Department of Education, they have a white paper that explains to teachers and librarians that reading comprehension for the youth comes faster and better through graphic novels and comics. And if we don't keep saying that, if we don't go to our local library and ask the librarian, what are you doing about this? Do you like? I know my local library doesn't buy from me, but they do buy. They have a large graphic novel and comic.
What about
section.
do you donate stuff to your local library?
I don't donate anything to the local library. I donate to veterans organizations, and I have overseas. I do some for kids overseas.
So maybe we need to start. Maybe the comic industry should do something should make a push with retailers and say, hey, put your kids comics aside and donate some of them to the local library or to the schools or
Yeah. There is an organization in the comic book industry that does do that, and I have a mind blank right now on who it is. But there is a part of the industry that does donate, not just to veterans, to kids' hospitals and libraries. I'll get that information for next week's show, but any retailer that wants to partake in
that's all great. I don't give a shit about donating to a library. Who goes to libraries?
Not many people anymore. That's a great point.
Nobody goes to the library.
I go to libraries all the time.
You go there trying to buy their old stock to try to flip it.
He goes there to find their ASM 238.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Gilbert with the super chat. He said, everything is a trend. Kids are going back to the mall to hang out, so having physical copies are also coming out. That's another great point. Everything is cyclical, and physical media has come back in a major way. Just like
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
is the physical copy, right? So let's take a metaphysical dive here for a second. We've evolved, right? Evolution is fact, right? We've evolved. We're hunter-gatherers, right? Whoever has the most shit is more likely to survive, right? That's why we have to keep getting. That's why capitalism works. You got to get more shit, gather more stuff, get a bigger house, get storage units, keep your shit in, right? Like we're hunter-gatherers by nature. I would much rather have this in my hand than have a digital copy on my thing, right? 100%. So we just got to get another generation, this next generation as an industry, and all the things you said are great. Donating to libraries, donating to, that meant good for you, bro. Donating to veterans organizations. I've done that. I need to do it again. Busy as shit, but I've done that before. It doesn't help the industry. For our generation, it does. Maybe get some people reading it to buy some stuff. Donate to libraries. Fantastic. Kids don't go to freaking libraries. We're talking about bring back a Scholastic book fair that was comic books or some shit. Remember those little fucking things?
That was the first time that I
handed out, and you bring home to your mom and beg her, "Can I get a book, please, mom?"
Yep.
That's nothing but.
Well, those are still around, and it's Captain Underpants and Dogman and Amulet and all the Scholastic's books that they saw that the comic books were beating them, so they went out and copied it and did it better, actually.
Yeah, and they did. That's and shame on our industry, specifically the big two. Where's the Batman and the Spider-Man in the book fairs that are going to get the kids reading Batman and Spider-Man and maybe Iron Man? And like you said, partnering with the movie theaters for the release. Right. Every kid under the age of 15 gets a free comic book for coming. Make it a family day. Go to the theater again. Don't rent it on Disney Plus and sit in your house and watch it. Get out of the house.
Yep.
Let's go overspend on popcorn and candy and bullshit.
Yeah.
Sneak candy into your mom's purse and overpay for popcorn and have that experience.
And instead of maybe we could split it with the companies that are making the movies, right? Maybe they could provide a particular reprint that we could buy and give away.
Yeah. Just maybe even not buy. How much would it cost them to give you? A lot. You think it would cost them a lot to give every store in the country 10 books to give away?
Yeah. 10 books ain't going to do it.
Well, every retailer in the country, 10 books. Even. Here's the thing.
I'm going to need 100 for the first when it opens.
I think that
I'm going to need to give the first 100 kids a book.
Right. I think that too often,
because you'll get 3%. You'll get 3 to 10% conversion rate.
I think that too often we say that it's not enough. And listen, at this point, I'll take just about anything to get us started.
Right.
Yeah. I'll buy them. I'll go halfsies. I'm more than willing to go halfsies. I don't need to get it for free. So I'm looking for a conversion rate. I can't convert 10 books into a reader.
If these major big picture, right? Let's just take Marvel. Perfect example. If they would get their heads out of their ass and actually have Disney talk to Marvel Publishing, they're going to release in theaters, partner up with AMC or some big thing. Okay, look, we're gonna get it. We'll give you a certain amount. We'll give you something if we get a 10x10 space in your theaters for a local comic shop, a retailer, somebody to get out there and have an event for opening night for this thing, right? Saturday, whatever. Okay, hey retailer, here's 100 copies of this. By the way, bring your other stuff and sell it out there. Bring your Spider-Man back issues to Brand New Day or whatever, and sell it to every kid gets a free copy. Here's your little guidance. Of course, someone's going to fuck it up. There's that one douchebag that's going to sell them all on eBay or whatever. But at least we're trying something. There's things you can do.
If they sent them to AMC, they might
so
not.
just so you guys know, you can do that. The only thing you have to do is you need to call DC.
I'm talking on a national level.
Yeah,
national
you can do that nationally. On any store across the nation can do that. You just have to call DC and Marvel. Go to your co-op.
So let's do that. Why don't the three of you guys do that?
There isn't a co-op at DC anymore, Jesse. There's no more co-op.
There is co-op, and there is co-op. I guarantee you, if you went to DC and said you wanted to do a table at a movie theater, they would co-op with you to do something at that movie. 100%.
Well, that's a great. Explain what you mean by co-op. Explain what you mean by co-op.
So co-op means that if, let's say, the cost to do it. So a cost to do an ad in a movie theater is $5 at AMC. So if you want your ad to come across before a Deadpool movie, it's $5 for every impression, right? And it comes up and it stands up for 10 seconds. So you can get co-op money on that. So they would split it, right?
But that ended in 2019.
No, you can still do it. I guarantee you can still do it. You need to stop using ChatGPT on you need to actually start educating yourself through the companies and find out how to
I'll
do
tell you what.
stuff.
We're going to put a pin in this, and we're going to reach out to DC, and we're going to find out, because then I'm going to hold it to you guys as retailers and say, hey, let's do this.
I will tomorrow. I will send emails to my reps over there.
Let's fucking do this.
And tell them
somebody other than me, because nobody will talk to me.
Yeah,
I'm too tiny. I'm a little fish.
I mean, I got a couple. We all have little points of contact. I'll reach out to him and ask.
It shouldn't matter how big you are. If you're a retailer, if they're doing a co-op, it shouldn't matter, right?
Rhonda Comics in Arizona does it almost every major movie, and he gets co-op money for every single.
Does he work?
Movie.
He works with DC. He isn't doing that on his own or through the
Depends
theater.
on the movie. It depends on the movie who owns that movie as well. So if it's DC, obviously he's then go through whoever does DC movies, right? I'm not talking about the comic book company. I'm talking about the movie part of the company, of the industry. So if it's Marvel, you're then go through the Marvel advertising for the movie part of the industry. If it's Image, whoever it is.
No, I get what you're saying 100%. What the co-op, I mean, like the official advertising, like, hey, if I buy a billboard to advertise my store and put Batman on it, we pay for half the billboard. That program officially ended. But you're absolutely correct. There's always a way.
Yep.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Send some emails, send some phone calls, whatever. Call some people if that's even a thing. Email people, blow them up, hit them up on social media, look for them. You know, I tell people look in the bottom of this, of the back, of the front cover of the credits and all the little tiny fine print, and look those people up and stalk them and find them.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Leg the other day, and Leg's like, man, you know, I'm always complaining about how it's sometimes it's so hard to do a variant and this and that, and it's hard to find out what's coming and this and that. I'm thinking that you got to call them, you got to talk to them on the phone, and they send it out to everybody that's, you know, signed up with Lunar. They send you a little thing in your email that says, hey, here's what's coming if you want to. And he's like, I never knew that. And those are the type of things that, you know, we need to talk about. And at some point, and I'm going to keep saying this, I hope that DC, Marvel, Image, Vault, Boom, all these Dynamite, they have a PR person that we can reach out to and say, hey, this came up. Can you have somebody come on and explain it to us?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, because I'm not busy enough. Thanks.
Here's the reason why Sean said something that is very important that most of you didn't catch. You then get the one person who gets all these freebies, and they're not going to do the event, and then goes straight to eBay, and that's what.
And then we
us.
call those people out, and when we find out
Right.
about it, shout out to Heroes Reborn with the $9.99 super chat. He says, "Red Shirt Day?" question mark. Sean has these guys in uniform like Gunny Highway.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're not wearing a freaking red shirt there, Brian. Hello. Get with the goddamn program.
Exactly. And before these two got into the business, well, Sean might have been already in the business. Were you in the business where they used to send us 4 tickets for every movie? They would next day air it. Yeah, they would literally next day air 4 tickets for the store owners. And what happened was you'd have store owners selling those tickets.
Of course.
Yep. And it just, the program stopped. Every number 1 that used to come out, and I'll show these the next show, they would actually do a one-on-one for every single comic book store for Marvel. You would have a one-on-one, and inside that comic would say to Jesse James Comics.
It'd be a stamp though, right? It'd just be a stamp.
No, it'd be written.
Like
you
printed?
might be able to go online and it would say imprinted inside it. You get one-on-one, you get 1 copy for the store. But what happened?
And it says one-on-one in it?
Well, it just says your name. It doesn't say one-on-one, but they're not.
So if there's only one store, it's
exactly one per store. Yeah. So we have these great programs, and a lot of these programs go away because you got the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys that go out and start selling the shit and not actually doing the program. And that's why it's very tough. So you really got to do your research. You got to work hard. You got to work your people that you know. And you will get it done. You will get co-op money. Absolutely.
If you're that desperate, if you have to sell like that giveaway or those free tickets, like close your fucking doors. Like you're not in business. You're not in business.
Right.
If you need to sell those tickets, give them away to your customers. Build business for the future. Same with the comics. If it's meant to be given away, I'm sure that a lot of guys kept their Dungeon Crawler Carl books.
Well, we saw on Drama Alert that week that people were selling them for $10, $20 a piece. They weren't giving them away, which was garbage.
Yeah. I gave 250 of them away. My buddy says, "Oh, that's probably like $3,500 that you gave away." I'm like, "Good. I hope they all sell them."
Yeah.
We sold 20 copies for $5 each on Whatnot and gave the rest away.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit. Just kidding.
I think there's a here's the no. Here's the thing.
Amazon right now for 30.
We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough. I told people, I said, "Look, $5. I put them in the bin. First get them, first have them. Boom, gone. Like seconds." I was like,
"Here's the thing," and we talked about this the other day. The 3 of us, like I believe we talked about it. I could be wrong though, but there is not everything is the same for every retailer, and I get that. But there is sometimes too much where it seems like you're asking too much for something, right? And it can look bad. And I don't have a problem like if you're like, "Hey, I'll give you 1, and then but if you want an extra one, you're gonna have to pay $5." I have no problem with that, I get that, but at the same time, it's a different world between brick and mortar stores and online only retailers. It's such a different world on how things work, right? Because in my opinion, Free Comic Book Day is more meant for brick and mortar store owners. To me, in my head, I think of it as a reason to get people into brick and mortar stores. So
it's traffic.
It's traffic, yes.
That's everything. Everything you're doing in your retail business should be to create traffic, because then it's conversion rate, right? Which Jesse's phenomenal at converting, and he knows his converting, and so does Sean online. Sean knows his conversion rate online. Me, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, but everything we're doing is trying to create more traffic, because if we know what we can convert, if we can get 10 more people in the store, how much more money does that mean? If we can get 100 more people in the store, how much more money does that mean? If your conversion rate increases because of customer service or a giveaway or, history of the store, like people are like, "Oh, you guys are so long around," and this, that, or the other thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that helps your conversion rate. as you increase, that increases volume. If you've got great margins, then margins and volume mean phenomenal business.
Right. I think what you want to look at is you want to look at your retention rate, and then what that percent of conversion of new consumers are every single week. Ivan just talked about Samurai Comics getting free tickets. They do a lot of cool co-ops with the movie theaters and Marvel and DC and whoever's actually doing it. They're excellent at doing co-ops with those companies. So very good. I forgot about that, Ivan. Good pickup there. But it's about retention. And if you maintain your retention, Sean knows this on live streaming, you have a retention rate that you want to hit every time when you start your show. You have that retention of, okay, I got my retention in. Now, how am I converting one new customer per show, or 10 customers, whatever you're trying to get? So that's very, very important to look at when you do look at Free Comic Book Day, how it relates to a comic book store, and then how it relates to a online store, and then definitely how it relates to a live stream store, a live streaming company, because a live streaming company has the most competitors possible in any part of selling in this industry.
Yeah. 100%. Much tougher. Much tougher.
Well, you could start off with, 10 shows at the same time. And by the time you get into 10 minutes, there's another 50 shows on. So now your conversion rate changes. And now it's about, how much time do I keep those consumers in my room, and how do I keep
my competition has to drive? My people have to drive. My customers have to drive 30 minutes to the nearest competition. This is what they have to do online.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean just showed his phone. You just use your phone.
You just keep flipping through until you find one you like.
Yep.
Right. The competition is much tougher online.
Yeah, it sure is.
No doubt.
You also have, I mean, there's a topic we can get into for sure. Online versus brick and mortar versus website versus
listen, if you're a people person, brick and mortar is way easier. Way online has so many potholes, so many traps, so many different things. The system can go down when you're going to have your one show that week. If you're a guy that just does one show a week, most don't, but system could, like eBay went down the other day. Your own system could go down, your power failure, like shit ton of stuff. I mean, I have worked with lights out at my shop. So
there's things always happen no matter how you're selling. There's always a risk, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess we can start talking about this a little bit. Is there another, before we get into a deep topic, Brian, you want to get
sure.
get into something else here? So when my store, we just opened the brick and mortar back up again. When it was open before, I've gone, of course, been to comic shops, that kind of stuff. I never understood sitting in your store waiting for someone to come in. Like, it was a slow, and I'm in these retailer groups on Facebook. When I was on Facebook, people, anybody else having a weird Saturday? It's been super slow for us today. And my question is always like, then do something else. Like, go live. Like, go, just instead of sitting there waiting for someone to come in, do something else. You can affect the dynamic in your store.
Yeah, the dynamic real time in selling has changed immensely. I had this conversation with Jesse the other day that, I think that one of the things that I wanted with the industry show was I wanted different types of retailers to have different types of experiences. And I think Jesse is very interesting because Jesse came from this, he's this, in his head, he thinks of himself as this brick and mortar store owner, and that he's got to champion the brick and mortar store. But in reality, he's just as much a brick and mortar store owner as he is a new breed of online retailer, because he does live sales every night. Jesse, when he's got a slow day going on, he's going to go online. And I think that there is this dynamic that's kind of happening in this change in the industry where technology and the world has changed everything immensely. We're seeing less and less brick and mortar stores open up and succeed, and more online only stores owners open up and succeed. And it's very interesting. And there are some of you guys that do both, but they see themselves as one way, which is an interesting dynamic to me. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I call it fan initiative, fan-driven initiatives. And if you're working on fan-driven initiatives, that means the guy in Iowa is just as important as the guy that is walking into your store. When I'm live while my store is open. I'm going to help both people.
Well, not all the time, because sometimes you're live at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Those times are a little bit different. And if I didn't think about safety, I probably would be open, even though McDonald's is across the way open. But fan-driven initiatives are very important, because that ensures that the guy, and I keep on saying Iowa and Wyoming, that ensures that they feel like they are in a comic book store, because they don't have one. So that's how I look at
Pretty
it.
smooth, baby.
And I think you have to open up your eyes, and you have to pivot as much as possible to what is going on, what is new today, and not really worry about what is going on in the past.
Real quick, let me take a moment to go over these super chats. Night of Comics, another great retailer, says, conversion rate driving sales. We just came to Red Shark Tank moment here. Who's Mr. Cuban? Sean, hugs to all. And then we have Rye saying, Sean, can you talk about going to Patreon exclusive live streams? We'll get to that in a second. And then we have Rye saying, Jesse James does not need to stream at 1 a.m. He does because he loves the game. Amen.
I love
and then
it with the passion.
Shout out to one of the best names in YouTube lore. Hard Nips Gizzardo sent 1,000 jewels for trophy cake. Shout out to him. And then real quick, shout out to Jack DeMeo, who says,
yeah,
it shouldn't be one or the other. Online platforms exist to support the efforts of local comic and card shops. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
well, I agree with Jack. It shouldn't be one or the other. I think it should be both.
I'll be right back, you guys.
I think it should be both. I think, well, I guess I'll go back on that, because anymore in today's market, and there's tons of guys, Night of Comics is probably a testament to this. You're more likely to start as a streamer. Your chances of success are much higher as a streamer. Your risk is way lower. Your reach is better. There's so many benefits for going online and streaming and having a website, instead of opening up a brick and mortar, signing a lease, and having that overhead. So really, you should probably start as, if I was going to recommend anybody, I want to open up a comic shop, I'd be like, are you streaming first? If they say no, I'm going to say, then stream.
You better have a garage full of inventory.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're streaming every other week, every 3 weeks.
Maybe not though. You're accurate though. You got to have inventory for consistent streams. What I think you're saying is you have consistent streams, that you need inventory. Yeah, you're absolutely
That's
correct.
how you build a business, is consistency. It's not like, oh, I'm on every 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe if I have books this week, that won't work.
You got to stream 3 times a week minimum to be relevant and keep your fans interested.
A lot of fucking inventory.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
You can stream. You can stream with. You could go quality over quantity.
Yeah,
you're gonna sell a book every 15
also not
minutes.
easy to just put together.
Not necessarily, and let me explain why. Because this is coming from my point of view. I don't stream very often. I stream to raise money. Right now, I'm basically streaming to raise money to go to cons. That's what I use it for mainly. And when I stream, sometimes I'll have inventory where I'll go through, 100 items, but sometimes I'll only have 20 items that I'll put up that show, So I think it depends. There's nothing that's black and white, especially in this game.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to get out of it. You know what I mean? So I don't think you
But we
necessarily
were talking about starting a business and being part of the industry, and you're not doing that on 20 books.
Okay. I apologize. I didn't know that's what you were meaning.
No, you'll make some good side hustle money on 20 books, but you won't be a thriving.
Gotcha.
I guess we should describe. Everyone has different definitions of success, right? So there's so many different paths and connecting things here we could go down, right? So, but
Well,
what
the
we're
government
talking
only
about,
allows you to be in business for 5 years without making a profit. If you
Yeah.
don't make a profit by the 5th year, you're not a business, you're a hobby.
your hobby, they'll shut you down. Yeah.
They'll shut you down.
Yeah. You
Right?
can't
So
anymore. Yeah.
hence, after my first 5 years, I closed the first business and reopened as Haven for Heroes Inc. instead of Haven for Heroes. And I went from an LLC to an S Corp. And I transferred all the inventory for $1, right? And restarted up. Because while I was still working, the store was really not making that much money. I was putting money into it every year. And to go into my 6th year, and this was my dream. So I was more than willing, my hobby. It really was my hobby. But to stay in business until I retired and then turn it into what it is now, I had to shift, move to another business model, and start making money.
Yeah.
So
as long as you have a
side hustle's fine, but if you don't think you're going to get a bill for how much money you made and you're going to have to pay taxes on it, and if you don't have an LLC, you can still sell. You can sell on eBay, you can sell on whatnot, you can sell anywhere. But guess what? That's not business income. That's personal income, which is 40%. So if you don't pay a dime in tax while you're taking that money in, and at the end of the year, hey, you did 60 grand and whatnot. Wow. I didn't even realize I made 60 grand. You owe 40% of that.
And then you can't claim deductions.
Right. Because you're not a business.
Yeah.
So you paid, if you paid, like people tell me all the time, 40%, you can't pay 40%. I pay 60 to 80%. Oh, okay. Well, then you're making 30%. And that 30%, which you can't take that other money off of. So you're paying you lost 10% buying at 60%.
Yeah.
People can't do math in America.
Right. I think that's a tax issue that everybody has to deal with. But I think the concern of someone.
Well, that's the side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Of the side hustle, and that's the part I was going to get to, is if they're educating themselves on one way to do business, but they're not educating themselves on how to do a brick and mortar. And a brick and mortar is completely different on how that business is run. And your expenses are completely different. I think it's easier to be a brick and mortar person and then go to live streaming. Absolutely. But how do you educate someone on doing both if they've only done live streaming is going to be a challenge, right? Sean was talking, I don't know if we were talking backstage or on live about someone who had bought a collection, right? And they bought a collection and then 3 weeks later they buy another collection. Well, in the brick and mortar world, you're buying 3 to 5 collections a day. So how do you sell that product? How do you decide what sells in the store versus live streaming? That's your challenges you face.
Here's my answer to that is it doesn't matter, just sell it. I have a different philosophy. Like we've talked about this a little bit. Well, first off, back to what Emmett was saying, you got to get your tax game squared away, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
They will take your fucking money, trust me.
Same. I'm still paying off a back tax. It's almost done.
Me too.
From when I first opened.
Me too.
I got audited. I'm very open about it. I got audited. I thought I had all my ducks in a row. I had my spreadsheets. I had printouts. I went into this audit freaking, I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Like,
Right.
I was so proud. I was so proud of my stuff, bro. I still have it in a drawer. I was so proud to show this lady. I was like, check out what I did. Here's my deductions. I did my research on what's a deduction. I laid it all out for her. She barely even touched it. She picked her hands up like it was made out of poop. And she was like, do you have QuickBooks? And I was like, no, it's all right here. So you don't have QuickBooks? No, it's all right here. I can send you my Excel spreadsheets. It's on a thumb drive. What do you want? She goes, well, I guess I made her a copy of everything. Here you go. Okay, we'll get back to you. I got a letter saying you have 30 days to reply. All of your deductions have been denied, and you owe us $300,000 in taxes.
Yep.
And by the time I was broke because I'm opening a business. By the time I found a lawyer to work with, the time had expired. Now I have a lawyer I pay for that's trying to get some of the penalties refunded and waived, the penalties and fees. But I've been paying $2,000 to $3,000 a week for the last 4 years just to pay.
We didn't make that kind of money.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes. I told my accountant,
my bill's not that big, but
I told my accountant, like, can we go down to $2,000 a week this week? And she's like, and they want to see consistent payment history. And I'm like, I've been freaking paying them for freaking forever.
And if you can't get the penalties taken off, you'll never fucking pay it off.
Yeah, you'll never pay it off.
No.
And the key is, since we're talking about this, the number one rule is don't ignore them. If they call you,
I've never
ignore them.
I got an accountant fast, and an accountant and a tax guy. They're separate people, and they were like, "Hey, during COVID, especially, they're on the phone with them, waiting for hours and hours on the phone, and then they hired all these agents, and I was happy. I was like, they hired more agents. Yeah, maybe we can get through to them. Then they fired them all.
Yep,
didn't help at all. They're going after, and what I found recently is."
They don't go after billionaires.
Well, yeah, they don't because they don't. Yeah,
they go after us because we don't have the lawyers.
100%. It's the middle America, the small business owners who pay the majority of taxes in the country. But anyway, they were straight up just like, at least the reason they haven't came and seized all of your stuff and put lien on your house yet is because you're paying them some money.
Yep, that's all.
They're like, most people don't even reply. They ignore them and they get liens on their houses and they don't give a shit, and then they die, and then their family thinks it's goes to the government.
I just got a 433A from the IRS for 2016. 2016.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need to review everything.
So I tell people, get your taxes.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get audited every single year.
Yep.
I know I'm going to get audited. Everyone's prepared for it. My whole team, well, the two people that work for me to do it, my accountant and my tax guy are prepared for being audited. If I accidentally use my personal credit card to pay for a bill, they will get on me. They're like, that throws up red flags everywhere. Stop doing that. I'm like, my other card, I didn't make the payment, didn't go through, and I had to pay the bill, so I swiped the other card. I'm sorry. Now I got to make a ledger note, and it's going to flag something. Anyway, it's complicated shit. Hire a person and get your taxes squared away, because Emmett said it perfectly. You're going to pay 40%. You guys that think it's free money, just send me PayPal, friends and family, and then they don't bill me for so much amount. It's going to catch up to your ass, and you're going to get burned, and you're going to get effed, and you're going to hose yourself and your family over. Just do it the right freaking way.
Yep. There's nothing like getting a call when the person says, hey, this is Sean Hidaku. My federal ID number is 427-561. This is Jesse James Criscione. Fuck. Right.
One quick story. I'm in my office working. A sheriff, full uniform, belt, gear, everything, and a dude in a suit show up, flash me their badges. I'm this person with the IRS. This is the sheriff. Can we ask you some questions? Sure. I got nothing to hide. I was a military dude. I'm not afraid of those guys. Whatever. I'm not gonna freak out. You guys want something to drink? Grab a seat. What can I do for you? We noticed you got a ton of money orders at at Walmart, at this Walmart,
Yeah.
at the post office, at here, using 6 or 7 different cards. And I'm like, yeah, I sure did. Sucked. Like, what was that for? Because to pay my diamond shipments, because I was COD,
Yep.
and I had to have it to the penny, and my invoices were $7,000 to $12,000. So the max at this Walmart is $2,000 a day. The max here is $3,000 a day. So I'm running all over the freaking planet trying to chase down money orders. And they're like, do you have the matching invoices? Like, I could match. If you guys want to spend some time, I'll match everything up to you. The guy was like, we're good here. They thought I was laundering money.
Yeah.
They literally thought I was laundering money.
Speaking of laundering money.
Oh, you're doing it?
No, I wish. No, eBay. There's so much money getting laundered through eBay. Just recently, the card game that's almost dead, Lorcana, which was the Disney game, playmat sold for $99,999. A playmat.
Yeah, but is that a real sale?
And-
Did you check that out on 130 Point?
So how can it show sold that? What is it not confirm?
Yeah.
Because another one sold for $77,777.
So what happens? So for example, there's a thing in cards for it. Like there's this thing with Jose Uribe 1990 Fleer, right? It's there's this joke that it's this rare card and they put them up for sale for these $100,000 and people will buy them and then cancel the thing and it'll still show up as sold. So, yeah.
Well, worth point you have to pay, right? Or are you talking about 130 Point?
130 Point, yeah. 130point.com should tell you if it's a real sale or not.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the money order thing is crazy because that's kind of the Patriots Act, and you get on that list, man. It's hard to get off that list. I was doing the same thing Sean was doing, having to get money orders, and same exact thing happened to me, man. To the, I'm
they
like,
put an inquiry in with the PayPal account. That's how my PayPal account got frozen with over 6 figures in it. I couldn't have access to $120,000 for 6 months because PayPal just froze it, and their terms of service said you can't get it. It almost destroyed my whole business.
Yeah,
How do you survive?
It's on worth point. 77,777.
What?
Yeah.
Let me look it up. 130.
Shame on me for leaving that much in my PayPal to begin with. But
I know. Yeah.
What is the name of it, Emmett?
It's Lorcana Playmat.
Lorcana Playmat.
The funny thing is they call it a mouse pad. So whoever's putting it up doesn't even know the proper name.
So which one?
You have to go to highest.
Okay, let's go.
Filter.
Filter.
There you go.
Let's see
here. Is that sold?
That's sold, yeah. See, they're all the same price. So that makes me think that there's some kind of fuckery going on.
Laundering money. They're laundering money.
Hold on, let me see if this. I don't know if this is real though or not.
One of Elon Musk's kids is a Disney fan.
See,
yeah,
so
that, or
it could be real. Yeah, it could be real.
Yes, the GameStop guys raising money to buy eBay.
99 cents for positive.
They pushed.
He sold 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
eBay refused his offer.
That needs to be on the top 10 list of hot products this week.
Yeah.
I had these. I had those. That's why I noticed.
So once you get your taxes straight, then it kind of goes to, if I was advising somebody opening up a store brand new today, the first thing I would advise them to do is to stream. Well, I would say open a website and stream. And if anything, they're important for vastly different reasons, right? The drawback about streaming is you don't have a lot of power in collecting customer data, right? But you're giving them a cut in order to have access to, if they've done it right, which Whatnot has, foster an enormous marketplace full of buyers interested in this stuff, right? Fantastic job to them, right? In any you know, the comics are so small in there. The people that are killing it, look at the bargain hunter guys that have these warehouses full of stuff that are live all day and all night.
They buy
they're making $20 to $100 every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But I mean, so you're trading one for the other, right? But with the website, it's so powerful because you have the ability to control first off, you're saving a ton of money on the fees. And the most important thing you're getting from a website is you're getting that customer data. You're getting their email address, you're getting their phone number. And if you set it up properly, you can then remarket to them.
Yep.
You have all the data on conversion rate, like we talked about, conversion rates, how many website visits does it take to purchase, what landing pages, what products they view the most.
Failed to complete if you have anything that's up for sale.
Yeah.
Like if you have any buy it nows in your store.
Yeah. And then you got to have that retargeting email for abandoned cart emails.
130 point is done.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Weekend Nachos, do you know if there's any other store if there's any other site than 130 point that does what it used to do? So that's a bummer because 130 point used to actually give you the sold sales, and now they don't give you the sold sales anymore, which is kind of a bummer. If anybody knows of a site that will actually give you the sold sales,
Point, but you have to pay it.
Worth Point is the best. Worth Point has no time frame. It can go back all the way to the first auction in 1776.
And Christie's and Sotheby, all the big auction houses are also in that.
Worth Point has all Christie's, right? Exactly. That is the best one. Pick Click is great, but Pick Click is only eBay.
And is that Pick Click free?
Pick Click is free, and it gives you the information on every seller as well, from their very first sale all the way till what they sold today. So Pick Click is good. Worth Point, though, is the best, especially for oddities and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you're doing more than collectibles, for sure. If you have any antiques, you know.
You know, the person's going to make a ton of money is the person that invents the AI system that can track live streaming sales, even if they don't have a description in the sale.
Right.
It can track the picture.
Right.
It's just it could be done. Just
I would love
for
somebody to create an API to capture the comic book API,
right,
and connect it with the customers I have, like we used to have with Pullbox.
Yeah.
Just so I can know what books I'm pulling every week, because it's fucking a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Well, just before you go, Sean, I just want to say what Sean is also saying. Your metadata, not that you're going to sell it, but your metadata per 5,000, per 10,000, per 20, that is worth a lot of money. Woo, doggy, that is worth a lot of money.
The two most valuable things I own, it's the digital original art that I own, that I've paid to have done, and my email list from all the Kickstarters.
Your IP, believe it or not, is pretty valuable.
What's that?
All your original IP also.
Yeah,
valuable.
That's debatable.
No, if you build up an IP bank, it's sellable. Look at how many times Valiant has sold their IP, and people will say
that's true. I suck at
about Valiant.
I don't view my IP. I should look at it more as a business like that. But yeah, it's I think it's definitely the one of the most valuable things I have. If we could go do a whole session on website email marketing, retargeting lists, your email. I use Clavayo, and seeing how many people have clicked on each link I put in there.
Yep.
How many of those actually follow through and drop off? What images? Just like YouTube research, like watch a Mr. Beast video. He talks about how he spent years researching what thumbnails got the most clicks and why. It's the same thing that you're researching. You're just mastering your craft.
Yep.
The drawback about live selling is I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know if my thumbnail worked. I can see how many bookmarks I have. I can see a little bit of the analytics, give me some data, but nowhere near the data that I want to see to actually analyze when did we spike, when did we drop off. I can see the little counter in the corner. I don't know how reliable that is. How many people is it an impression? Is it someone, how long do they have to be in the room before it shows me a new viewer?
I can't believe how many people don't last longer than 10 seconds. I don't even know why they click on the video.
Well, I'm the same way, to be honest with you. That's how I look at Whatnot. I'm in and out of 20 sales in 2 minutes. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Boring. What's this guy doing? And I'm sure, what's this guy doing? I'm just as bad. It's that TikTok brain.
What is it called? Lorcana Player Mat? Is that what it was, Emmett?
Yeah, well, they had it up as a mouse pad, but it is Lorcana mouse pad or play mat.
So Eggplant said something kind of funny, and I think he thought it was funny, but believe it or not, drug dealers invest a lot of money into comics and
into collectibles, period.
Yeah.
Collectibles, period.
It is a
high-end jewelry.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. And what's funny is when you go to the end of the year auction on the drug bust purchases, it's
Treasury Department
comics, it's all collectibles.
There's a lot.
You think it would be cars, and nope, it's all
there's that shit too.
There's every once in a while, but
there is a lot of collectibles.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are saying that Terapeak will show it, but what am I missing here? I'm on Terapeak. Right?
So Terapeak is eBay generated. What we were talking about is Universal generated.
No, well, that's what I want to know is eBay though, because I want to check to see.
Oh, okay. So
if those
Terapeak is eBay orientated, and Click is eBay orientated.
Because I don't see sold. I don't know how I'm supposed to look for. I'm missing out on this. Condition filter. Oh, sold. There we go. Duh.
Yep.
No sold. Lorcana mouse.
Well, it's play mats, all one word.
Lorcana mouse pad. Let's go here.
So Sean, while he's looking that up, let me ask you something. And again, I haven't done Whatnot. Does Whatnot show the consumer as they come into your room, or they only show them when they speak?
Oh, you can see them in the room. It says, but you can set it to where people don't see you when you come into a room.
Oh, you can do that. Okay. And can you see when they go out, and can you see when they come back in?
No, you can't see when they come out, but sometimes it'll show you if the same person is here and then is here again and then is here again. It's like, okay, that person's show hopping around.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Rye says Hunter Biden and his $400,000 artwork. Lol. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole world out there, man. Those guys.
Yeah, how the rich move money around, and it's there's a great movie called The Bag Man. It's about a guy that they're trying to pay when people are paying for hits. This guy's a hit man, and they're like, they find an art dealer who will sell their art, and so when they want to do a hit, the mob goes in and buys a piece of this guy's art for like $400,000. The person who owns the gallery gets a cut, and then the guys who are going to do the hit get the money. But the joke of the movie is that he becomes a famous art. Everybody wants to see his art. He becomes very sought after.
So I looked it up. I just went and copied the actual listing title, and it says no sold results found for this. So
go to pick click.
PICK?
Yeah. No, just PIC and then CLICK.
Okay. Now what?
Go there. And then go to the search engine at top.
Okay.
And then you can just put it right there.
Where's sold listings? How do I look at sold listings?
Just put it in the top corner. It will do it for you.
Top corner. What top corner?
Right there. Right where you are. See where the search engine is right above?
Right there?
Yeah. See where it says search?
Yeah. So I put the link in there. How do I look at sold listings? Are these all sold listings?
It should be.
Sort by.
Is it not saying sold?
Price highest. Oh, let's see here. I don't know if
Hey,
these are
what's that in the
sold.
left-hand corner there?
Where?
Right there, beneath the first picture, underneath the
Pokemon.
Oh, that's Pokemon. Oh, okay.
I don't know if these are sold. It doesn't say that these
That
are
looks like
sold.
for sale listings. I can't remember. I haven't used it in so long, but
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Yep.
Rye says I'll probably get a knock at my door now. All right. This was the other thing, and it's kind of funny we're talking about this. All of the items that the GameStop's CEO Ryan Cohen put up, and it was kind of funny. He put all these up, and under description, what did it say? It said for purchase of
eBay.
Yeah, for purchase of eBay. Yeah. And he sold a bunch of stuff, and they pulled them all down because people were bidding on them outrageously. GameStop store signs, Battlefield racing suits, socks. There you go, Jesse and Emmett. There's your socks.
Yeah.
Dirty socks. There. I wonder if he was watching the show.
Absolutely.
A Master Chief statue. Ken Griffey Jr. rookie in a PSA 10, $11,000. By the way, Ken Griffey Jr. rookies in PSA 10 are up like 70%. An Apple iPhone, 9,000. A painting, 7,000. A piece of carpet, 1,700.
From a GameStop,
yeah. A Trump card, 5,000. You know, so he was putting all these up, and again, this guy. He might have been a douchebag on that CNBC thing, but this guy is he
had some good ideas for eBay.
Yeah, he's an autistic savant, like one of those. What is it called when you? What is the term when you're not like super autistic, like Asperger's? He's got Asperger's or something, you know.
Well, they got rid of that term, and they just said now everybody's on the spectrum from mild to. You know, they don't use the term Asperger's anymore.
Right.
That's so funny when people say they don't.
But
we're not
like
using the term anymore.
The guy is Justin Resells is his YouTube channel, and he had a interview with him, and like he, other than answering where you're getting the money, which was what CNBC wouldn't leave him alone about. There it is. Yeah, but it's super long.
It's Justin.
It's like
by now, you've probably heard the news of GameStop trying to buy eBay. I've talked about it here on the channel. I talked about it on the Extra channel. And a few days ago, I reached out to GameStop's PR, and I said, hey, can I interview Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop? And they said, yeah, which... I was surprised by, but anyway, so I sat down with Ryan and had a really long conversation about this whole thing with him. And you may not know him. You know, he is an e-commerce guy. He's the founder of Chewy.com, the pet supply company. He founded it back in 2011 and sold it to PetSmart for billions of dollars, and then went on to be a part of the GameStop team, and now is trying to make a bid for eBay to buy it into. So I wanted to know, like, hey, why are you doing this? What do you expect?
And it sounds like he was a little bit more open to kind of like talking to this guy, right, Emmett?
Yes. Yep.
Rye says, with a super chat, I told you, Brian, dude is a maverick, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, but if you see what David said before that, he cut his employees' health care. He wants to cut like 60% of the eBay staff and move those into customer service. He says, because when something goes wrong at eBay, nobody can get a hold of anybody. If you get scammed or if something goes down, like it takes forever. You're talking to AI, you know, there's billions of dollars and there's no customer service. And he said that there's all these people in marketing and all this other stuff. And he goes, what does eBay need to market for? He says, they're already the leader, except they're falling behind all these new live selling platforms.
So let's see. Here's some of the questions that they asked. Why do you want to acquire eBay? Why should eBay sellers support this deal? How would you run eBay differently than the current management? Ryan talks about his recent eBay suspension. Have you ever sold eBay stuff? How should your listing process change? So it sounds like a very interesting interview. This is one that sounds interesting. What could GameStop's 1,600 stores bring to eBay?
And I think that's where you've seen a lot of competitors in the space take some of that market share from eBay's by simplifying different parts of that process. In particular, I think shipping is one of the biggest challenges for sellers on the platform. It's a complicated process. Other platforms have sort of figured out how to simplify that. And I think, the GameStop brings a unique, opportunity there with your physical stores. And so talk a little bit about that, like look forward-looking opportunities with having 1,600 locations around the country. Is that a way to simplify shipping perhaps, or what else are you thinking about that as an advantage?
So I want to say to one other point, I mean, and I'll answer your question, but in terms of fraud and all the money that's being spent, you know how many Roblox digital items that I have bought for my son, and we end up, by the way, it ends up not being a real item, and then we end up not getting it delivered, and then it ends up saying was delivered. They end up giving us the wrong item because it was not advertised correctly. It wasn't a legit item. And then we have to like do a chargeback to get our money back. And it's like basically the guy was a fraud.
Yeah.
Like, that's happened to me multiple times. So why is that happening? With over $5 billion being spent and with there being, AI and all kinds of ways to be able to filter out fraud. How is that happening to me on multiple purchases still? Doesn't like that. I mean, it's great that that's happening because it means there's a huge opportunity, and thank goodness that there's a good opportunity. There's a huge opportunity. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
See, that's what's interesting about people and their thought process, and you could tell this guy has a little bit of autism. He's got the little bit of autism going there, but it's not a bad thing because it makes him look at things differently. And one of the things that I find interesting about people is the way that they go about battling issues. And they say, okay, let's look at it from this perspective. This is a problem, but it also creates a very good opportunity. Whereas most people wouldn't look at the opportunity on the problem. Does that make sense? Like that's
that's what makes an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
That's like you see a need, you fill a need, you make money.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. In terms of the 1,600 stores, what cost $0 in CapEx, and we can verify this inventory in real time that is authentic. That is, make sure it's authentic. We can make sure that it's authentic. We can ship it out directly from the store, or
That's a big deal right there. That is a big fucking deal right there.
I would disagree with him on one thing logistically. Where are you putting this stuff in your 600 stores? Because your store is only 1,200 to 1,800 square feet. I bring you 4 long boxes of books.
But they have to already be sold. Right?
If that's what he's saying.
Say that again.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying, I think what he's saying, and I could be wrong here, but I think what he's saying is, if the item's already sold and you take it to us, we then are the thing that says, okay, this is the item that you bought, and we're going to ship it.
Oh, so they're not storing anything.
No, they're not storing anything. Yes.
Right. So back about almost 20 years ago, I had a rough patch at my regular gig, and I was thinking about leaving and doing a business. And I had come up with a name, WeBay, where you have a big place and you take the pictures, you verify the item, and you sell it for people for a price. But I couldn't make the margins work, so I passed on it and suffered through another 17 years of my job. But yeah, I always thought that like having a brick and mortar that did eBay for people could be profitable, and he's already got the 1,600 stores. So now you're doing volume. You know, you're that fixes your margins, right? If for a lot of people, but they're not going to be posting. They're just going to be shipping and validating. Because right now, if let's say you sell a Rolex, you have to ship it to eBay. Then it sits there for a week while they check it out and make sure it's a real Rolex, and then they'll ship it from there onto the person.
Which
Same with
creates a
sneakers.
problem in itself, because eBay has a certain address. When you take it to the FedEx store, the USPS, the UPS store, and they see that address, and they see that address, they're going, hey, that means that there is a card or an item in here that's over $200 worth of value in this package. And we're seeing a lot of people losing items because of that, where to the point where eBay had to change their address on their thing because people knew where that address were. They had to change it to like PO boxes. People figure out what that is. So this is the type of
at PSA and CGC and
it's happening all over the place.
There is a company called I Sold It, and they only do shipping for in fact, they are opening up, believe it or not.
I think
that's a good company to look at. So there are companies that do it now.
You keep on freezing there, Jesse, just
a
a heads up. So just see if you have anything running in the background. You don't need to leave and come back to check it. This is another interesting comment. He said, he talks about live selling. Why are you focused on live selling? What's the opportunity?
I want to hop back because we did talk a little bit about innovation before and where eBay is missing the boat on some stuff. And I think that what's come up in some conversations you've had in the past too is around live selling in particular. You know, what's your attraction to live selling here? What do you think that opportunity is at eBay specifically, and why is that a focus of yours?
eBay is perfectly set up to be the leader in live commerce. It has the brand. It has the users. It's missing the content creators, and it's missing having the same tech as competitors. But it's similar to Apple. Like, in terms of Apple is a good example of a company where, I'm not saying eBay is going to do this, but it's the same opportunity with Apple looks at where the market is going, and Apple's typically never first to market. Like, they weren't first to market on the smartphone, and they weren't first to market in streaming and in meta categories. And then they end up coming in and they dominate the category because they have the ecosystem. And so here is the same thing. Like, as soon as eBay gets the content creators and has similar UI, UX, you can come in and basically dominate live commerce. But there's obviously a lack of motivation in the C-suite to win. So, like, no one over there wants to light the world on fire.
I agree with that immensely. Great
What
point.
have I told you, Brian? I've told you this several times. eBay. So here's, I think, first of all, Brian, I sent you the link to that store that ships all the stuff for eBay. It's called, it's in your Facebook messages. I think it's very challenging on eBay. If you go to the carousel, which shows all the genres, we're the last category. So that,
well, let me explain what you mean by that. So if you go to eBay Live, so for example, you go to ebay.com, you click live. This is the carousels he's talking about. You got live now, and then you got new seller spotlight, trading cards, sports singles, breaks, fashion, watches, sneakers, health and beauty, toys and hobbies, coins and bullion, then comics.
Yep.
So it's not last, but it's way down the list.
Well, they've added some. Yeah, they've added some more categories that will probably move above us. So that's the first thing. They launched on Sunday night that you cannot show unless you have a hashtag.
Say that again. You broke up.
So you have. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet. So you cannot launch a show without a hashtag, but you have to use their hashtags. The problem is there's no comic book hashtag. Out of all the hashtags, there's no comic book hashtag. So they have informed us that we have to use the vintage hashtag, which means anything, right? So I did my show Sunday night, and I had.
I don't think that's the case. I think because I use multiple hashtags. I use vintage, I use autographs, and I use modern comics as well.
Modern comics there's no hashtag for modern comics on eBay, not on eBay Live. There's nothing in there for eBay. Go to eBay, go to your hashtags.
Okay.
When you do a live show. So you have to do a new show.
So let me go here. Let me go duplicate.
Yep.
Let me go down. And I've got first appearance, autographs, and modern.
Yeah.
In the comics category. So there's modern comics, autographs, first appearances. Those are the three I use.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, but so it's category comics, and you use
category comics, and then your hashtags are within comics. So you can do first appearance, autographs, modern, vintage, graded. I think there's a graded one. Big Leg uses exclusives. But
I did not see comics on mine.
Yeah. So you go selected category and comics.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
And then when you go to select tags,
you can use 3 tags. I'm using first appearances, autographs, and modern as mine. You can also do dollar starts, invincible.
Yeah, I see that.
So
that is so weird. I don't have comics on mine. That is weird.
So it's but he's totally right. Like eBay is that place, and we talked about this for a long time. I remember when Whatnot was kind of like out of the beta stage, and they were really taking off. And there was a lot of talk about like eBay or Amazon coming in and buying them out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I agree with him. I think this is a great interview, and I'm going to watch it, Emmett, after the show tonight.
It is. It's a really good interview. But the thing is that, eBay refused his offer. They also don't think he has the money or enough shares to take a hostile takeover.
Yeah, I saw that today where they basically said, this is a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, they threw it away.
Look, he's brought it to everybody's attention.
Right, exactly. Now you have people that are now interested in it that did not even know there was a possibility to buy it.
And not only that, Jesse,
but also buy.
You are now incorporating GameStop with collectibles and not just games.
Exactly. Yep. And we had talked about that last week. Big Leg, you are right. They also changed the chat, so you can't. It's crazy what they've done. So he is correct that they're
in the beta stage. They're learning, and we've talked about that since the beginning. That eBay Live is not the same as eBay proper. It's like almost like an offshoot company where they're kind of like they're dipping their toe in live selling, to try to figure it out. And they're going to spend their time, just like we had the beta stage for and the testing the water stage for Whatnot, where Whatnot has
big companies. That's why big companies buy companies that already have it figured out.
You got it.
Exactly. And keep in mind, Whatnot did 8.5 billion last year. That's a lot of freaking money, right? And
I'd like to see what their
but eBay did $79 billion.
Yeah, I'd like to see what their net was on.
Yeah, they're not in a rush,
right?
Because they're already doing $79 billion, so they're not in a rush. So maybe it's because they do that much that they're not rushing live streaming. But it is a challenge, and I'm very fortunate that, and I don't know if Sean Bryan, but I get a call back in a minute, 2 minutes is the max right now. We have special numbers. If not, Sean, I'll get that to you. There is
for
a special,
live?
Yeah, for live streaming. So live streaming does have its own dedicated force.
Yeah, but there's so many live sellers coming online, apps coming online now. It's like, why buy Whatnot when you can buy, you don't need the users, you have the users.
Whatnot's going to be very expensive because it comes with, it's just like buying, if I want to buy a website from somebody, why buy a brand new website that doesn't have any clicks, views, streams, people,
Right, they already have the users though. You just rebranded as eBay Live. It's just the technology that they need.
Yeah, you want the back end, yeah.
Yeah. You want the meta.
But Whatnot has really figured it out. And I mean, it's going to be expensive. That's why it's still a private company, though. I still think that that's their end game. Because as a private company, a sale is a lot easier than having, a larger company acquire shares, and it can be taken over hostily, and you then don't make the same kind of money. I mean, you get to sell your shares on the takeover, but it's not like as if you sold the company outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
which will mean a lot to our business.
It does, but I think I would want to see the percentage of brick and mortars versus just online sellers, what that percentage is. The brick and mortar has to be a very small percentage of that sales group.
I want to share this real quick. I want to share this interview. Shout out to Justin Resales. I just subscribed to his channel. Here's the link to the interview. Go subscribe to Justin Resales. Show him some love because that's a great get. Get him on there and getting him in a situation, an interview where he can talk more freely. You know what I mean? And it sounds like it's very interesting. We're going to check it out tonight.
And about what he's passionate about, whether he has the money or not, is a bullshit. That's just a gotcha pushy question for, to either discount him or whatever. And some big investor might like what he has to say about eBay and come in and be his guy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Here is the link, or here's the site you talked about, Jesse.
Yeah, it's called I Sold It. And what you do is you sell it on eBay. You take it down to eBay. They do all the packing, the shipping, the verification for you. They do all the follow-ups, import the tracking into your system for you. So it's a very unique place. You can actually drop off stuff. They have cases where you can sell your stuff in there, and it's coded so they know who the seller is as well.
There's actually franchise opportunities, which is very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about putting one of those in this store, and that's why I knew about it, but we already ship too much to try to ship.
There's 8 in the country.
Yeah, that's a tough job, man. I don't know how many of you guys ship items that you've sold, but it is the bane of my existence. I love talking comics. I love selling comics. I hate shipping comics, so.
It's so easy, dude. Like it's you just get I probably shipped for 2 hours today, helping out my team. We're currently to same day, almost 24-hour turnaround on fulfillment. So if someone places an order, it's in stock, it'll ship out within 24 hours. We're super happy to have that. Once we get our weekly books in, any pre-sales are out within 72 hours, 48 hours. So we're very excited that we finally got there. It's been a bit to get back to that point. Now the live sales. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
No, that's website. That's website stuff.
So Derek says eBay fee is 15%, and these guys probably charge 35% on top of that, so you make 50% before tax. And that's always what you got to remember is that you're gonna lose a bit of your profit or the money that you make off that sale to have them ship.
They're not actually. Most of these places are not posing for people who are side hustling, right? Side hustle is the more work. This is for the guy who doesn't want to go down and sell his comics to the local comic shop. He thinks they're worth more, or he has one special comic, or you saw the guy with the guitar just getting something out of his house and wants to get the most for it. and nobody locally will pay him what he thinks he can get on eBay. That's what these are posed
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, they're
So 1
yeah,
and 2 offs, not somebody that's going to be there. Oh, here's 30 items I'm putting up today, and I'll be back tomorrow with 30 more.
Yeah. But Sean knows this. It's all about rhythm. It's all about if you get a rhythm in shipping and packing tape is always in this area and bubble wrap is in this area and your envelopes are right there. Or I know you use all Gemini, all the Geminis are stacked here, and you create that rhythm, then it makes it easy. I always tell this quick story. It takes us well, it now takes us about 6.5 seconds to ship one item. All right. But when I first started, it took us about a minute, and then we got down to 18
pretty crazy.
seconds.
6.5 seconds to ship one item, including tape and everything.
I would love to see that.
I know that sounds crazy,
dude,
bro.
I'll
You
show
sound like
guys a
Flash
video.
there.
I mean, it's just bam, tape, print, right? So,
tell me after the show. Please tell me after the show. Please
I
tell me.
I put all my Geminis in a
6.5 seconds.
That's a viral reel if you can film yourself.
Please
shipping something.
Yes, I'm going to hold you to that.
6.5 seconds.
Yes,
6.5 seconds per item.
I want to see it.
So,
but let me finish. So when we're at 18 seconds an item, I was like, how do we do this faster? How do we get below 10% or 10 seconds? And we couldn't figure it out. And a new person started the first day and said, why is the printer so far away? Why is the printer not right by where you're packing your envelopes? And that saved us that time right there. So it's about rhythm, getting in the rhythm, having some good music in the background. Bam, bam, bam. Do the deed.
Real quick shout out to the one and only Biggie Shack who just joined the show. He said, thanks for whoever gifted me a membership. Shout out to all the gifted memberships. You guys don't know how important that is. You know, I appreciate that more than you guys know. So thank you so much. This has been a great show tonight. We've been just like boom, boom, boom off the next topic. And I want to jump into the final topic of the night. And this is a big one. And we've been talking about this for a while, all the way back to one of the times that I remember really being into it. Shout out to Rye, who just said, Jesse James sells and ships more books than the average bear. Yeah. Amen, brother. One of the things that we talked about back in the day, shout out to Mark Spears, when he first did his Halloween blind bags, which just broke the comics world. There was problems with how the printer was printing the books, how that they were putting them in the bags, everything about it. There was damage, there was weird collation issues, and it was a new thing that we were learning. And we've seen it throughout the blind bag game, whereas the Ultimate Endgame blind bag was such a big deal, where they feel like they fixed it for the Daredevil blind bags. Even as far back as the Whatnot blind bags, when they first started, they fixed the issues as each iteration. They would add something extra to make so the damage was less. And I feel like Whatnot did a really good job on their iterations for the blind bags. And Marvel learned that through the Whatnot process and through their Daredevil blind bags. They did a really much better job than the Ultimate Endgame. But we have recently seen major damages to the Absolute Batman number 20, as well with the Martian Manhunter and the Barbara Gordon Batgirl damages. And this is very interesting because with the exclusive retailer exclusive game, the blind bag game, the changes in how comic books are printed, we see damages across the board in the Absolute Batman 20. Every single Absolute Batman 20, including how many variants were there? Like 120 different retailer exclusive variants for the Absolute Batman 20. It was absolutely crazy. There's a ton of retailer exclusives on top of everything else, and they were all damaged. And what do I mean by damaged? Let me show you that.
None of my variants were damaged.
None of your variants were damaged, and that's very interesting. I want you to come back to that because we have not heard a single retailer say that yet. Emmett, you are the first retailer that I have heard say anything about no damages. This is this right here
I'll
is
take pictures tomorrow.
This is the image from every single retailer I have seen shows these.
Yeah, the A covers were fucked.
That's what I'm saying.
They all kind of look like that. Some are better, some are worse.
Yep.
Now, I
didn't see any color breaks. Did yours have color breaks?
No.
Well, you don't need color breaks when you have that much of damage. I mean, I don't look at that. I mean, if you look
Just
at
send
these,
it to Red Hood.
not everybody can press as good as Red Hood, but
so like I agree that looks bad. Now, I feel like this has been a little overblown, and I'm gonna tell you why. I just did a video. We filmed our weekly review. Me and Kyle did, and the cover A's they look pretty bad. They look 9.2-ish, right? Like 9.0, 9.2. Those are pretty bad. People are saying, well, the inside of the variants and the store exclusives are all cover A's too, so they all have the same damage. No. I have, like, I showed this in my, I don't know if I can get it in there, but this is just the Duke cover. God, let me get the light now to try to show it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I mean, you can see it's right on the guy's shoulder, the blue guy's shoulder right here. So,
oh yeah, you can see this. You could see the big spine tick. Yeah,
yeah, but it's actually like just a little it's just a little crease.
Yeah,
like it's
not color breaking like Emmett said. I think Emmett said.
Here's my store exclusive available tomorrow at noon on comicsleaguecomics.com.
Oh, that's a hot cover.
It's one of the better ones I've seen. I'll be honest about that.
Sure.
Yeah,
100%. You could see it right there a little bit.
Yeah,
by the guy's shoulder,
and you can see it above a little bit too, above the little smoke. Yeah,
but it's nowhere near as bad
as regular A's.
Like when I'm telling people, like, you know what I call this? I call this a 9.8.
Yeah,
that's not. They grade this, you know.
Now, well, do they? Because I think CGC might grade the interior as well.
No, they do. They do.
They take the better, right?
Better.
It's the better of the two.
Yeah,
that they grade.
Billy did make an excellent video that we're going to show in a second. Shout out to Billy. Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't ignore the inside by any means. However, these are going to grade. So me and Kyle are going to do a thing. He has his book he read. This is my book that I read. I've been finger effing this thing all day, carrying it with me. It's my reader copy.
Yeah.
We're going to send our books in. I've been carrying this with me in my truck, not even in a boarding bag. I've been showing it on all the streams, and we're going to send all these in to CGC and see what they grade at. I'm pretty sure they're going to be 9.6 to 9.8.
Well, I want to talk about this real quick before we get into the rest of the damages. This is something that I want to talk about, and that's the grading standard. And one of the things that I've talked about pretty often is that my mind can be changed. Right? You give me some great answers on stuff, and my mind can be changed very easily. So, Billy, let me see if I can find this. Let me go to Economics and Comics. Shout out to Billy. Economics and Comics. I think he put out a post. Here we go. So I want to talk about this real quick. Here we go. I'm gonna play Billy's post today. Here we go.
Information I'm getting about the Absolute Batman 20 issue. Apparently DC's come out. I think they've done the right thing. I think it's pretty amazing, actually. They've announced that they're going to do a second printing of all cover A's of Absolute Batman 20, Barbara
We'll
Gordon,
get into all this
Absolute
in a second.
Martian Manhunter 11. I'm not sure if it applies to the other ones as well, but cover A's, they're going to make second printings and send them to retailers for free. But here's what I think is really cool. The first printings, of course, had the damage on them and stuff like that. And they are going to tell the grading companies about it so they can adjust for grading because so many people want condition. I mean, when I sent out my email to everyone, I said, look, I've decided to ship them all out. not knowing what's going to happen and stuff. And I was right, because they're not going to make a first printing again. And they did the right thing, because many people want the book. They don't care. They want to read it, which is, what I want to do, read it. But there's also that whole other end of people that want their books in perfect condition. And so if you are considering getting grading, now the grading companies know that they're going to be told that this is a widespread issue, and they'll grade accordingly. So you might have a bunch of 9.8s. They might all be 9.8s, because the grading companies know that it was a manufacturing printing defect. So I think that was really cool. Basically, yeah, I mean, they're doing a full reprint, but it's going to be a second printing. And
okay. So shout out to Billy. Make sure you guys go check out Economics and Comics. Billy is one of our OGs here. He's a great dude. Love Billy. But I want to talk about the grading part real quick, because my thought process has changed on this over time. And I respect, I've always talked about how I respect people that when you bring a question to them, and sometimes you'll see somebody say, I don't know, I got to think about that, or I got to look more into that, or I don't know how I feel about that. I respect people that have the ability to change their mind. And I've changed my mind on this process, and it could change in the future. But what I'm talking about specifically is grading companies. Now, we had this problem with the Mark Spears Monsters, where so many of the Mark Spears Monsters Halloween blind bags had damage or issues, and there was talk about talking to CGC and saying, hey, the vast majority of the print run have damage, and so they're going to change the grading standards because of that. I feel like they should not change the grading standards, and that is how I feel now. I've changed my opinion on this a little bit. And the reason why is because I feel like grading standards should stay the same across the board. And if a book comes out that's had printer damage across the board, you shouldn't give 9.8s to books that aren't 9.8s. And at the very least, a 9.4 should sell for a 9.8 price, because we know that the damage is there. But you shouldn't change the grading standard because of it. Now, I want to know, I have a feeling what some of you guys are going to say, but I want to know what you guys think about that. Emmett, especially you. What are your thoughts on that?
So you've had, have you gotten any vintage cards graded?
Yes.
So any 1975s with those spots, dots?
Yeah, printer dots, they're called. Printer
let
bubbles.
That slide?
No, they don't.
Slide.
No, 88 tops.
What about crimping? What about crimping on TCG cards?
Yeah.
If you've ever gotten a Magic card that's crimped at the bottom. Now you have people that collect printer errors like that, especially cards that are miscut, because they have really high quality standards at the TCGs, more than sports cards. But still, when you grade it, it's going to come back off center, right? Just because there's a market for it doesn't mean it can grade any better, and they still grade it poorly for being way off center. I just think that if we're going to grade, it should be graded across the board with collectibles. Printer errors don't get any passes. Period.
Yeah, Sean, what are your thoughts?
Well, pull this up real quick, brother. On your, send it to you on Instagram if you don't mind.
Okay.
And
all right, here we go.
So when is grading not really grading? I heard rumors. I don't know if this is true or not. I've never tried it. But if a comic book print run has a flaw that's common across the entire printing. So, for example, everything has a little tiny ding on one part of the comic book, let's say. Well, it's supposedly a rumor that the retailer, the publisher, whoever it is, can tell the grading company, hey, every single book has this common flaw. And then the rumor is the grading companies will then ignore that flaw and grade around it. Well, that's a bunch of crap, because if every single book has a common flaw in it, then that print run doesn't have any 9.8s or 9.9s or 10s. Maybe they're all 9.6s. If you ignore a flaw in a book, you're ruining the integrity of the entire grading process. And what's the point? So if this is happening, it's total crap and it should not be. Let me know what you think about it.
Very interesting.
That's my thoughts.
I love that. Shout out to Rye with the $5 super chat saying, yes, Brian, I will say it. A blind bag pull shouldn't get a break. A vintage book shouldn't get a break, just as much as a vintage book shouldn't get a break.
Right.
I posted that 2 months ago when the whole blind Mark Spears thing was coming up. And I'm like, this has been something that's irritated me for so long because I've heard so many people say, oh, we're just going to let the grading companies know, they're going to ignore it. And I'm like, then grading is even more meaningless than people say it already is, because we're literally, anyone that is pro grading, you're shooting yourself in the head by saying, oh, we're all going to ignore this flaw. We're going to universally agree that this flaw isn't really a flaw because they all have it. Then there's no 9/8.
Gilbert says, now we know why Brian changed his mind, lol. I just saw that for the first time there, Gilbert. But I've changed my mind many times over the years, and I'm always willing to change my mind.
Yeah,
Jesse,
so
what are your thoughts?
cool
What are your
crap.
thoughts on it, Jesse?
You're muted
You're on
yourself.
mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
First of all, I have bagged 3 in 5.5 seconds. Just so
What
you
is
guys
that?
know.
What is that? Sorry.
A single issue in 5.5 seconds in an envelope. So I'm going to send you guys the video on how to do it in 5.5 seconds. So, what is the percentage of a print? What if a print run comes out? What is the percentage of it being graded? Is it in the high 20s, 10%, 15%? What traditionally is that percentage? Do you know?
It would depend on the issue, right? If it's a
There
key,
isn't-
it's
there
probably
isn't
going to
a
be more than if
standard.
it's not.
Yeah. So it's not more than 50%.
Oh, could be.
Or it could be. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Well, then there goes my theory there. I would think that if you saw a flaw, you wouldn't want to grade it.
Mm-hmm. That's the
So
idea.
that would be my first thing. I don't do a lot of I buy a lot of graded books. I don't send a lot of stuff into graded, but if I saw that it had a nick on it, I wouldn't send it in regardless.
Shout out to Hive with the $10 super chat who says 100% agree with Sean. It should be based on the book condition regardless of common flaws.
Yeah.
Comic grading is the only place where this is accepted.
Yeah, so I wouldn't, if I saw the flaw myself, why would I send it in? That doesn't even make sense. So I think the consumers need to educate.
That's why we grade. We only grade for one reason: money.
I think
Yeah,
I think that's false. I think that there's people that do grade Emmett based on they think that grading is going to give their comic books a better chance to stave the time without being damaged due to like molding or whatever. And I think that other people also grade based on they like the way it looks in the thing. But I think the vast majority grade because of money, but not the only reason.
If you're a collector and you're sending your books in, I would probably agree with that. I do sometimes paint with a large brush, but if you are not a collector and you are a flipper, a speculator, a comic shop, you're doing it because of the money.
Right. But so when that happens, a common error, does it actually say it on the CGC label?
No.
Yeah. So if I buy this online, right, and it's supposed to be a 9/8, and I get it in, and the guy hasn't described that little nick.
And I've never actually seen this in practice. However, Jesse
There's
made
a lot
great
of rumor.
point.
You're right.
If it doesn't say that printed with common manufacturing flaw, they should give it a different color label. If it doesn't say that, and I buy a collection in a year and has that book in it, and I'm looking at that book in that slab, and I'm going, who the F graded this a 9/8? It's going to make that grading company look like complete idiots because people have short memories in this industry.
Yeah, look at the what was it, San Diego Comic-Con 2017 or 18 with the foil Batman. Yeah, remember those grades people were getting on?
It's so funny. I said people have short memories, and Jesse goes, "Remember back in 2017?" I was like, "Well, maybe we don't have short memories sometimes."
Yeah, exactly. Where they're all damaged and they're getting all these high grades, and it didn't make sense. Yeah.
The only thing I have to say about grading is that museums don't do it. if this is museum quality protection, museums would do it.
They don't do it in the card industry, I don't believe, do they, Brian?
What do you mean?
They don't say, "Oh, this entire print run of this."
No, I'm saying people are always saying that they get them graded to protect their books.
Yeah.
If it really protected valuable books, museums would do it.
You don't think it protects it at all, Emmett?
If you drop it.
Not only if you drop it,
it'll break.
Transporting, most of the time.
I think if you look at the ultimate
but you got to buy the rubber bumper now to go over and then so you don't scratch it. You need the bag that goes over the.
Yeah, that's all accessorizing. Just like you need a board for
Just
your comic,
like grading
and a bag
is
for your comic, and a top loader for your comic, and a box for your comic, and
exactly, yeah,
special tape for your comic.
Yeah, I remember when I first walked into Jesse's store back in the day. He had his store. This is when Jesse first opened his store. Some books wouldn't even be bagged and boarded. They should be stacked on tables all over the place because you had so many books. You would just put them on stacks on tables, and it was like, some of these, most books weren't even bagged and boards. You just walk into a little part of the store and there'd be a bookshelf full of stacks of bagged and board books. It changes over time what people like and what people are into, and the changes within the industry, like the innovation within the industry, right?
And then the thing also is that if you say, "Oh, this had a flaw," and so you shouldn't grade against this flaw because all the books have it. Well, all the books
it's
from
funny
the 30s
because
and 40s had acid in the paper, and that's most of them go brown.
It's funny because
grade for dark pages.
James from Hive Comics says, my dad grades his low grade Conan because they were his first comic books and he wants to help preserve them. So he doesn't care the condition. He just wants them to last for the next 20 years that he can put them on his wall or on his shelf.
I graded my very first, when I was 17, Chris Claremont signed some Uncanny X-Men for me. I got them graded.
But I wanted to show this. This is my very first graded book.
Nice.
Yeah. My very first book. Sorry, not my very first graded book, but my very first book.
Yeah.
And I don't care what condition it is in. You know what I mean? Like you guys said, I don't care what condition it is in. You know,
is that Herb Trimp signed that? Who signed that?
Yeah, Herb Trimp signed this. This is the cover that he did. Most people didn't know he did the cover. And I took it to him and I said, hey, this is the very first book that I ever got. And I don't care what the grade is. I just want it in a shout out to for Hive Comics for $5 for Brian's belt fund. Hey, I'm in my my comic book room. I don't care if people see the ass crack every once in a while.
Hey, no one's complaining. It was a great ass.
Shout out to Chuck. He says, that's the argument I've been making about your Punch 12. Shout out to Chuck for hooking me up with the Punch 12. That's the guy right there that came across the greatest collection I've ever seen anybody come across, and he hooked me up with a Punch 12. So,
pretty
all
cool.
right.
Yeah, so I think the whole thing about we're notifying grading companies is crap. I do think it's interesting that they're going to do a second print. They were going to do a second print anyway. Let's be honest here. So, but they're shipping it to us for free. They're even going to credit us for shipping credit. So we'll have shipping credit for it. And they're giving us, here's what's bigger to me. They're giving a 15% discount for all the variants that were bought. And store exclusives are going to get a 15% discount. That is huge, bro.
Well, let's talk about that because
that'll help the margins there big time.
This is the email that they sent you specifically, right, Sean?
Yeah, this was in my email today.
Yeah. He says, you should have said I neither
I'm pretty sure all retailers got this.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure every retailer.
Thank you again for your thoughtful feedback regarding the manufacturing defects in Absolute Batman 20, Absolute Martian Manhunter, Barbara Gordon Breakout #1 for your patience as we work toward a resolution. We are pleased to share the steps DC will be taking to address the situation. Complimentary second printing of the A covers. DC will produce 2 second printings of these issue A covers and provide them to retailers at no cost. These second printings will feature an updated title logo, coloring To clearly differentiate them from first printings shown above, retailers will receive quantities equal to their original orders of issues of the first printing A covers. What does that mean? That means that however many A covers that you ordered, you're going to get second prints?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1-for-1 replacements.
Okay.
What are you doing with the? Did they say what you're doing with the damaged ones?
Yeah. They'll get to that.
Okay.
It says here, second printings A covers will be shipped with June 3rd in-store titles. A freight credit will be issued for these copies. Retailers will receive a 15% credit for these issues, variant cover orders, open to order incentive retailer exclusives. We understand the difficulty of the situation has created for you and your customers ahead of the release. So the story's reading experience isn't delayed. Please feel free to sell the copies of the first printing A covers while you await the second printing versions. Grading companies will be made aware of the defects so they can be factored into grades. That's the interesting part. Again, we don't want that. At least I don't want that. Thank you again for your continued support for these series and of DC. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, so that's good for them for trying to do something. And let's be clear, like, is it DC's fault? Yes. Ultimately, they're responsible. It's their comic. It's the printer's fault. But at the same time, they got to demand some kind of QC from the printer. We've gotten some image books that were very spine-ticky questionable as well. So these guys, all these publishers, you got to demand some kind of QC from your printers and say, look, if you notice all these books look like this is unacceptable.
So Random House also said, Penguin Random House sends these overstuffed Geminis. They're not Geminis. It's another brand. It's their own brand or whatever.
Yeah.
But they overstuff them, and
That's not good.
I've been getting damages from them. Most of my Ignition Press books were damaged this week.
Ooh, that's not good for Ignition Press.
It's just one of those things too, where I know it's unfortunate, but if I love when I have a big order because it comes on a pallet, and there's no damages on a pallet.
Nope.
But if I order a few, it's a small week, and you got a shitty delivery driver, they're throwing those books around, and I mean, Jesse knows with how much he ships. I'm shocked sometimes that I get customers sending me pictures of damaged books, and I'm like, how did that happen? Like, anyway. But yeah, they're trying to do the right thing. Good for them. The 15% discount or refund, it's not going to be refunded. It's going to be credited on future invoices. So that's a good thing that they're doing. And for retailers, like, it is going to affect sales. Most of them already pre-sell the books, but people are going to be like, that's why I'm going to do a whole video about this, about what the damages look like, because they're just not, to me, it's not damaged. It's still a 9698 book on that.
Let's talk about this real quick, because Ethan Long asks, does the spine tick affect the 100 plus variants?
It depends. I just showed you mine. So if you consider that affecting it, then yes, they're not as bad, because
better on the base running and stealing.
Oops, sorry.
Remember all of these are cardstock. There's another thick piece of cardboard protecting all these books.
Yeah.
The other ones I talked about this in my video. These are coverless covers. So
they have
if you don't
covers,
have a cardstock,
so you can't say coverless.
Well, it basically is a coverless cover, because the cardstock, the paper of the cover
is not
matches.
cardstock.
It matches if I took this off, right?
Well, I know what you're saying. So let me ask this real quick.
Yeah.
If you just bought that A cover, would that be a cardstock A cover?
No.
Okay.
No, this is not considered cardstock.
Well, does the A cover with that cover you're showing right now, because that's the A cover, right? If you bought the regular A cover without a retailer exclusive on it, would it be cardstock, or would it be the same paper that you're showing?
It's the same paper right now.
Okay.
So any cover A has this piece of paper. I hesitate to call it a cover because the paper from page 2 is the exact same paper quality as page 1.
As the cover.
So this is page 1.
Yeah.
There's no increase in cover stock whatsoever.
Yeah.
The paper rate is very, very cheesy.
It's the same. It's
Yeah.
slightly better than Marvel's, but Marvel's even worse. Marvel has a coverless cover, and I've talked about this before, where Vince from DC is the one who started the whole cardstock at DC,
Right.
and he's carried it over into Dynamite. But that's why all the variants, these are all $1 more cover price. These are $5.99. DCs are $5.99, and the regular cover is $4.99. So cover A's are always $4.99 or $3.99 or $4.99 from DC, and the cardstock cover variant with the extra cover on it is an extra $1.
I didn't realize that. I did not know that.
And this is way thicker.
I would be
paper.
That's my question then. For example, for Emmett, you buy a lot of the non-retailer exclusives that you put on your shelves.
Yep.
Do you see more people buying the cover A's or the like, because cover B's and stuff are all cardstock, right? Or are they not?
Yep.
They are cardstock. So do you see people buying more of the cover A's or more of the cardstock covers?
I sell way more of the cover A's.
Jesse, what about you?
I sell all cover A's. I don't even order variants. Unless a customer orders a variant, I don't even order it.
And then Sean, you obviously sell more of the variants.
I sell a ton of the variants.
Yeah.
Website. I mean, cover A's are almost always ordered more because cover A's are just more desirable by collectors. The market usually picks the cover A when it comes to first appearances. But these variant covers, Nakayama, EOM, they are crushing it. So those variant covers are plus the average reader just wants to read cover A. They're going to pay. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's an extra. It's $1 cheaper. Hell yeah, that adds up. So, but yeah, there's a huge difference. That's why the DCs are $1 more.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. I looked it up to see if Lunar, Penguin, Universal had general product insurance. Neither one carries it. So none of this is insured. So they have to find ways to, and Sean was right, for them to go this far is very, very good, knowing they're going to lose money in this deal.
Well, the insurance comes in the shipping part. So,
this is predetermined damage product. So I don't think they would be able to claim that in their shipping.
No, not in shipping, but I'm saying the buck gets passed back to the printer.
Yeah, exactly.
So insurance isn't going to cover, like I wouldn't insure it either. I don't need it to be insured while it's sitting in a warehouse. That's covered under general insurance for whatever business owns it. So if all these DC covers light on fire at the printer's warehouse, the printer covers that. If they get damaged in transit, the transit company covers that. If they get damaged at my warehouse, my insurance needs to cover that. So at no time does DC need to have insurance on any of this product, in my opinion. They never touch it. Same with Penguin. They never touch it. They don't need insurance on it.
So are you saying that when the printer sends to DC or to Lunar isn't even looking at the comics to ship to the retailer?
Hell no. They're shipping out the product that arrives. Okay. As long as did this arrive, did this SKU match this product? Yes. Shipped. Fulfilled. It's not their problem if it's damaged. Not at all. Now, if I get a damaged copy because if it was damaged from Lunar to me and I can put in a claim with Lunar, hey, these copies got damaged, send me a picture of the book, send me a picture of the packaging. If it's bad enough, you got to go through all those freaking steps, right? If the box took a huge hit coming from Lunar, they can see if they have replacements and send it to me. I got to send the books back to them. They'll file a claim with the shipping company to try to get their money back for the value of the books. The whole process. But yeah, Lunar doesn't check for, they're not QC, not at all. They don't check to make sure if they're damaged or printed appropriately. Right. Not at all. Zero.
That's a bummer.
Zero.
I would love at some point we're gonna reach out to Lunar to get somebody on from Lunar to maybe come talk to us, and that may be a good question to ask them. You know, what are their thought process on that? Is there anything that they can change maybe to help that? So shout out to MJ Comics in the chat. Make sure you guys go check out MJ Comics on YouTube. He's one of the good guys, one of our UK brethren.
What is let me ask you this, and as far as major damages, we have this, we have the first Mark Spears blind bag. Has there been anything else the last couple of years?
Marvel?
Well, not the last.
The
I
Marvel
mean, there's
blind
a
bag?
ton of them. Yeah, Ultimate Endgame blind bags.
Mhm.
There's lots of examples over the years. And one that I always remember is the first appearance of the what was that? X-Men like 175, the first appearance of the what was Corsair's team? Cyclops dad,
Starjammers.
the Starjammers, thank you.
Starjammers.
First appearance of the Starjammers is notorious for having printer damages. There's very few 9/8s on the census because of it. And that's what I want. I want that. I want, like, that means that 9/6s sell for, like, as they are 9/8s, but if a 9/8 shows up, you know it's super rare because almost every copy of it has printer damages. You know, you see those printer pulls on like X-Men, giant size X-Men. My giant size X-Men has holes in the bottom of the cover from the printer pull. You know what I mean? There's multiple comics throughout the years that are known to having those weird errors. And I want the grading to be across the board. I don't, and this has changed again. My mind changes like throughout the knowledge that I attain, the things that I hear. You know, we should all be open to having our mind changed, and my mind's changed on this throughout the last couple of years.
Did you see the letter that Beckett sent out about
The change on their label?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because their label isn't really anything different. They're just putting Beckett on the back label, which is interesting. At some point, now that PSA owns Beckett, I could see PSA pulling over the black label and finally doing subgrades at some point. But yeah, Beckett did make a change to their label, which is very interesting. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Let's see here.
Hi, I'm Colin Hudson.
Let me see here.
General Manager of Beckett. When I came into the role, one of the first things I focused on was listening to collectors, partners, and our team. We heard where things weren't meeting expectations, and we've been working to improve that. So, here's a look at what's new. We've redesigned the label, keeping what collectors love, but making it cleaner, easier to read, and more consistent. Everything
that doesn't look any different to me, and I'm not sitting here looking at another Beckett label, but we're going to find out what's different, but does that look any different to you than any other Beckett label in the past? I don't think so. Now let's see what the difference is.
But making it cleaner, easier to read, and more consistent. Everything now lives on the front, including autograph details, so it's simpler and more unified. And on the back, we've added a new QR system, so with one scan, you can instantly verify your slab and access its full details. There's a lot more to it. Check it out for yourself now at Beckett.com.
Did you guys see much of a difference there? Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, did he have music in the background?
Yes.
Okay. Felt like I was watching a snake charmer. With that music.
Well, it is Beckett, so maybe a snake oil charmer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So there you go. Oh, it looks like they're putting a little bit more on the label. I don't know. I don't see much difference in there. I don't think it's groundbreaking. I think at some point we're going to see PSA just bring the black and gold label all, and bringing the subgrades over to PSA. That will be something that's happening probably as right now as we talk. We just don't know about it. But at some point, they're just going to get rid of the Beckett grading altogether, and it's all going to be PSA. I have a feeling. I don't see that happening with SGC just because of how much vintage collectors like the SGC look on vintage cards. But nobody, like, it's funny because Beckett was the standard back in the early 2000s. Like, it was originally PSA. Then when Beckett came into it, everybody said, oh, Beckett's the standard, and it sold for more. And then that changed.
And then they added Pristine, and they started to come back a little bit. And then I think it was a big mistake that they bought not PGX, CBCS.
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning of the end for them. They overextended themselves. And then was a dip, and it gave the opportunity for PSA to buy them.
Yeah.
And close out. So now there's only 2 grading comic book companies, really.
Derek says tons of people submit to Beckett specifically to chase the black label. No way would PSA kill that golden goose. Well, I don't think they would kill the golden goose if they brought the black label over to PSA. Yeah. If that makes sense. So if they agree to sub labels on PSA, and then they say if you get all 10 sub labels, you're going to get a PSA label that instead of red and white is black and gold. And I don't think that causes any difference because they own the company anyways. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we'll see how it plays out. I do like tag. I still like the way that tag labels look. I love the clear label. I think that's super cool. But Weekend Nachos say they stopped taking submissions.
Because they grew too fast. They couldn't keep up.
Anybody talked to EGC lately? Let me know if anybody hears from those.
I heard that they closed their doors, so it's done.
Yeah. All right. That being said, you guys, we are 3 hours. I don't think these guys really have much pickups tonight. I didn't see any pickups for you guys, so we're gonna end it. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and end it early. Oh, look at that! You got stickers. Nice little Chaos Comics. You bought
magnets.
You bought these from last week, huh? Oh, look at these. They came in.
Yeah.
I went a little nuts.
You found on eBay.
Got an Evil Ernie signed by Brian and the sculptor.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was
cool.
pretty happy about that. Got one of the prototypes.
Oh, bro, that's so cool.
With the
it has the pin on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, got that. So yeah, that was fun. And then again, just tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, one of the better Batman 20 variants, and I've talked about this. The mechs are so big that it's hard to put them on the cover and they not just take up all the space. And I think this is a very good cover for that because the mechs aren't super huge and one mech doesn't take up the whole cover.
Yeah. Well, everyone will get a chance to read this tomorrow. You can tell from the cover, no spoilers, don't worry. But there's a giant one. There's kind of a medium one. And then these two are motorcycles. So people, they're riding them and they kind of they kind of transform into, it's almost like a transformer for real. They transform into these like Iron Man type suits after they're riding the bike if they want to transform into like combat mode.
Who did that cover?
It's pretty. This is Scon.
Oh yeah, nice shout out to Scon.
That's the cover A. Yeah, super good. And then the cover B is pretty damn cool. I like how they kept the light in the center, made the rest white.
Nice.
But yeah, I was skeptical of the cover when I first saw it. I was like, what the hell is that? Because we used to see in Batman and everything. And then I saw the other covers and then I read the story and I was like, now I'm in love with this cover.
So if they didn't put the DC logo on there, that would be considered a Virgin variant and it would cost more?
Everyone's calling these Virgin variants. They even call it Virgin on their ratios in DC. Someone made a decision to put the logo on every single cover.
Wow.
So there is no true Virgin variant anymore with DC.
Damn branding.
but we've just, you know, what am I going to call it? Logo variant, minimal. You can't call it minimal trade dress. Like, so I've
There's
just
no trade dress. There's only their logo.
So everyone still calls it Virgin, even though it's not Virgin. Even
Okay.
DC calls it Virgin in Lunar.
They could have moved it to the back too. It'd still be branded on the book. They wouldn't have to be on the front.
Yeah, it's already on the back.
It is on the back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's crazy sauce that they would take that away from you, but it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a peon.
Yep.
Yeah, they did have minimal trade for a while.
So you got that coming. When does that drop, Sean?
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow at noon, comicselite.com. Go check it out. Emmett, you got anything coming up this next week?
I don't have anything coming up. I'm working on having Jeremy London come and sign.
Sick. Was he the one in
Friend of a
Dazed and
friend.
Confused, or was he the other brother?
He's the other brother. He's in Mall Rats.
Okay.
And then a bunch of like just Seventh Heaven and like a lot of television shows in the 90s.
Gotcha.
He was on a lot of that ABC Freeform.
So for those of you guys that don't
Family.
know, there's Jeremy and Jason London. They're twins. One was the main character in Dazed and Confused. The other one was the main character in Mallrats.
Yep.
So
yeah.
And
then the only pickups I had was I got 2 Uruguayan Beatles albums.
Cool.
Uruguayan prints. That was my big thing. I didn't get any pictures of them, but they're pretty cool.
Jesse, you got anything coming up this week?
Yeah, I sent you a picture of my pickup on the 2 Grails. It should be on Facebook. While you're looking for that,
what were they? Because I don't see anything.
2 Mortal Kombats.
Oh, the Mortal Kombats. Let me see.
Yeah.
Where are those?
Yeah. So I picked up a 20-piece comic book collection, all magazines, and then on the bottom it had these 2 comics. And I'd seen them, but I'd never actually looked them up. I just
Jesse, where'd you send those? I don't see them.
Hold on one second. Let me jump in real fast. That is in.
Oh, there they are. I see it. I see it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yep. Yeah. So I picked up these 2 books. I cannot believe what these books go for. It is ridiculous.
Really?
Silly money. Yeah.
Wow. So we end up getting the 20 pieces. These were the last 2 on the bottom. The blue one ended up selling for $350, and the black one had a whole bunch of spine ticks, but still sold for I think $175 in the store. But those are extremely hard to get. Sometimes we do so we go through so many comics, we just assume that these are just common books. I'm in the world now where I look up every freaking thing. So that was 1 great pickup, or 2 great pickups that we had. The consumer that bought the blue one, he was so excited when he saw it. We hadn't even priced it yet. And I was just sitting on the counter, and he's like, I'll just take it from my card, right? And so, yeah, if you're out there, these are the 2 Mortal Kombat Grails to own.
All the Mortal Kombat sell.
Oh, yeah. Mortal Kombat is freaking awesome. There's a Mortal Kombat from when they first came out. It was who was it? Malibu or someone that did the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Malibu that did the first series for Mortal Kombat, and the covers were horrible back then, but those sell like cake. So we did pick up that. I did get a finally I got and then put me on the big screen real fast. I got a Junkyard Dog.
Oh, that's cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the things that get me excited. Like the Mortal Kombats are kind of cool.
Is that a custom card, or does that come from archives from when they did archives?
That's from the Legends series, Topps Legends series.
So that's an 85 Topps design.
No, it's the 85 baseball design, but
that's what I mean.
The actual
85 Topps baseball design. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that. Brian knows a little bit more about this
That's
book.
an early Alan Moore key. It's a UK Marvel Comics book, early Alan Moore.
Yeah, that came with the Mortal Kombat. And then we were talking about these. These aren't really pickups, but I did get 2 copies of these in from
A lot of people talking about that right now. Shout out
We
to
got
Alex
ours in
Comics
today.
and Greg
Yeah.
at Boom Studios.
What is it?
Greg Hopkins is one of the great industry peoples out there that keeps his thumb on the. He knows what's coming down the pike. He knows, he keeps his ear to the train tracks. He knows what people are looking for, and he's been really good about keeping an eye on those new artists coming out. Flops, Sveta, really good stuff from Greg Hopkins at Boom Studios.
Yep. And then
What was that? Fantasy variant?
That's Flops.
It's issue 46.
Flops Comics.
Yeah. So you should have got one.
Corner box variant is what they're calling that.
Yeah. You Emmett, you didn't get any of these?
No, I did not.
All right. You maybe you'll get it tomorrow. You should get one.
Well, did you order any sick tick?
Always.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Then you'll get one. And
not
then,
as many as I used to before they took a long hiatus of like 5 or 6 months or however many it was.
All right. And then what's going on? We have this huge auction. It's going to start tomorrow around 6 p.m. I don't want to run it. When is your thing hitting, Sean?
Noon.
Okay, so we'll do it at 12:10, and we're then be auctioning off this very rare. Can you put me on the big screen, please? This rare item. It's a 1-in-1. We decided to let this item go, so this will be going at auction. This is the Sean Hudaku Comics Elite. You can't really see the logo there, but it does have the logo on there for comic. There you go. Yeah, Comics Elite. There you go. That will be going up for auction. So that is what's going on this week.
I wish I was that big. Be nice.
Tomorrow, you guys, Wednesday night review, we are starting early. So tomorrow night, we will be starting 2 hours early. Why? Well, there's a reason for it. Sometimes when you have a really great creator who lives outside the United States, you got to, make an effort for them. Andrew Tarasov is going to be joining us along with Adam from Comic Sports Inc. tomorrow on Wednesday Night Review. We're going to be starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 hours early on Wednesday night because Andrew Tarasov, of course, he is in, I believe he's in Germany now, but it's going to be a lot of fun to talk to him. He is an amazing creator. You guys know we try to champion the creators that we love over here. And just like Mark Spears, Andrew Tarasov is cover artist, writer, colorist. Like, he does everything, and he is one of the most underrated creators in the game right now, probably one of the best remark sketch artists in the game, and he will be joining us live from, I believe, Germany tomorrow. We'll be doing 2 hours early, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on Wednesday Night Review. And then shout out to everybody that joined me on my live sale on Sunday night. I will be shipping those books out to you. I'll be getting them shipped out, I believe, on Thursday. So you should be seeing those soon. And then we are going to have another sale again on Sunday night, maybe one on Thursday night, and then we're going to have a card sale on Monday night. So again, thank you so much to the people who have supported the channel over the last couple of months. The support here has been crazier than ever. Absolutely amazing. And I want to thank everybody tonight who has supported us in either super chats or membership, gifting memberships, and everybody that's been in the live sale tonight. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and shout out real quickly as I bring them up. Shout out to the official music pub. Kev, appreciate you, brother, who hung out with us last Saturday backstage. It was cool to see him. He gifted 20 memberships. Shout out to Hive Comics for the super chats, Rye for the super chats, Hardnips Gizzardo and Ronnie for the jewels. And shout out to Ronnie also for the super chats. Night of Comics, another great retailer out there, for the super chats. Everybody that subscribed tonight and that gifted membership. Shout out to Jersey to the Bay, Ronnie, and a big shout out to Brad Selden, a longtime moderator here on the channel. Appreciate all of our moderators and everybody that hangs out with us on the live show. You guys are amazing. We'll see you next time. Adios.